the names sort of like pop up, and it's like Ryan Hodge, Scott Barrett, CJ Cottonback, Elliot Christ. I'm like, oh man. Like, I was hoping for some ROI. I just got thrown into like a shark pool. I'm going to get my ass kicked in here. I just lit my $100 on fire. But it's cool.
It feels like that's one of those times where you're hoping to be one of the sharper sharks per se, and then all of a sudden you recognize, crap, I'm chum.
Yeah. No, it's like that. It's like that line from Rounders. Like, if you can't spot the sucker in your first 30 minutes at the table, you're the sucker. And finally, I was like looking around like Ron Burgundy, like I immediately regret this decision.
Well, now I'm sitting here wondering who's the sucker.
Dum, dum, dum.
We'll leave it to the chat if it's
tonight. I'm putting my money on myself.
Pete, stop it.
You know what it is? I mean, what do you got? Is August for you guys like? Do you guys do rankings and stuff, or you do like the show and you play a ton of fantasy? August kills me. I mean, like I got to redo my rankings every day, and like right before I post them, I start looking at them and I'm like, wait a minute, oh crap, I want to move everybody around. It's like it's because every day there's news coming out. Somebody's breaking a leg, somebody's holding out,
and everybody's getting traded.
It's like tax season, and it lasts for 5 weeks, and then it's like, okay, now the season starts, and I'm ready to take a nap. And I forget
the second
every year I forget.
Yeah,
like I should like sleep all of July to like get ready for August, and I never do it.
Yep. Especially, I mean, the drafts are so congested into a week pretty much too, that everyone can kind of sort of do it or not do it at all, and it's just a mess.
I remember when I used to just like play, and most of my drafts would be like at the end of the month and be sort of concentrated, and you like plan all month and then draft. But now it's like second week of August, I'm driving up to Boston for a draft. Next week, I'm going somewhere else for a draft. And like 60% of mine, I mean, there's already shit wrong with my team. I mean, do you guys, are your fishbowl teams like still okay? Did anybody get lucked?
I mean, I drafted Zeke before he announced he wasn't gonna.
Okay, you'll be all right. I mean, you'll be all right. I think you're still good.
Well, currently not.
Well, let's put it this way, man. If you're drinking on Zeke, I'm buying, because my whole season's going tank. If it's I'm dead.
What are you saying, Ryan?
Cam was my biggest scare so far. Cam Newton. I had him.
Same here.
He seems to be all right. So yeah.
We may not get running Cam for a couple weeks, but all I had was Cam and Darnold, so I'm just like.
Yeah, I got Cam and Stafford and Carr. So in between that, I don't know.
I didn't even get a car. I got nothing. I'm actually thinking of taking all 100 of my bucks and throwing them on Brissett. That's how sad it is.
I know. I put in like a $5 bid on Brissett like 3 weeks ago, just waiting for this, and now it's gone. So
you might want to up that a little.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, Ryan. Since we're in the same division, we should discuss. How much you're
what
thinking.
Are you bidding?
I'm just wondering. Like I have, man. First time caller.
Hypothetically, what do you think you'd be willing to pay to stay alive in this here Scott Fishbowl? I'm just curious.
I'm staying out of that. I'm staying out of that Brissett bidding war. I ain't touching that.
My tradition in Fish is to waste everything on my first bid. I've done it every year I've been in there, because like my quarterback's gone down I had Garoppolo last year, so $100 on Mullins, baby. Here we go. Ended up going all right, but
he was all right. Yeah,
I got lucky on that one. It wasn't like, oh, I think I'll do this. It was like, I'm going to do this.
I have to do this
and pray.
I feel guilty not owing Mullins in our Superflex league, J Mike. That's something that I don't feel good about. But the rosters are so thin that I couldn't make room for him. But we got Brisket, so
we'll take what we can get at this point. And Mullins. And I was just making light of it the other day on the Dummy Blitz, just how disrespectful it was that Shanahan was playing his best quarterback in the fourth quarter of that game with Nick Mullins. And we should all, I don't think people understand the debt of gratitude that we owe Nick Mullins for ensuring that George Kittle was a thing, right? Without Nick Mullins, we don't really know. We don't really know if George Kittle becomes the hero that we wanted or that we needed. We owe Nick Mullins a lot. I'm a big Nick Mullins fan.
He hooked me up, no doubt. There's no way I make the playoffs without that guy. No chance. It's true. It's so sad, but it's so true. I mean, I just sneaked in. I just jumped over that line.
Can we stay in San Francisco for a moment? Because I'm pondering something. We're watching. I guess in this preseason, I've been as excited for Tevin Coleman as anyone in terms of his free agency that came and went, and the fact that he landed with Shanahan. I'm very excited for him. However, here's a problem. We watched Matt Breida be fantastic last year, and we're continuing to watch him be really good in the preseason, doing any and everything and seemingly finding more room to run than Tevin Coleman does, specifically in week 3. And Matt Wallman brought this up the other day with Sigmund Bloom, and he was asking the question or posing the question, are we sure that one Matt Breida isn't better than Tevin Coleman?
I'm not sure at all. I got a lot of Breida shares, so I'm biased. I mean, I'm a big fan of Breida. I love the way he runs. I love his heart. I mean, the guy runs with so much, gusto. I mean, that guy was running hurt a lot of the time last year, and you're seeing so much effort. I'm a big fan, and I think the possibility for him to catch more balls is there. I think he could expand that. It's really about the other two backs too, right? Coleman. Now Coleman looks so much better when he was running for Shanahan in Atlanta. So I'm open-minded that he could rip it up too.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it matters if he is a better Tevin Coleman just with the rushing yards in San Fran last year. I think they led the league. Them or Seattle were top 2. So
yeah,
regardless of who's number 1, it's kind of 1A, 1B almost a little bit.
That's what it feels like to me. I was talking this morning. I asked Reeves about it. I was sort of hoping he would make me feel good. He sort of took the other side. He's sort of like, well, they really haven't let Breida get much near the goal line. He's got a point. He's got a point there. But in terms of just carry to carry performance, I mean, to me, the guy's earned at least what he's getting, if not more.
Right.
And Pete just wanted to show you something real quick. Tacit Assassin, his SFBX strategy is to wait until Pete drafts QB and the draft is back up, because apparently you're the quarterback.
That's pretty good. That would work. History says you're right. I mean, we got another 10 days. Right now, Cam is still alive and Darnold is still alive. So I don't know. and I made the biggest mistake. I drafted my team's quarterback, so I doubled my odds of the whammy.
Gabe, I guess this is the part where we actually introduce what the heck is going on.
Yeah, J. Mike. Look, I don't want to jump in on your show here, but who's producing? Okay, I'm just here for the ride. So tell me what to do.
I thought this was a joint venture. I thought that's what was up, but apparently I was wrong here. This is the Open Bar. This is my show since I get to produce this week.
Ooh, you just produced there for a second.
Hey. The Open Bar live is Tuesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern-ish. No, it's not 10 o'clock yet for anybody who wants to be smart aleck about it. We are never late, always on time. Your boy J. Mike here, obviously, and my main man riding shotgun with me, or me riding shotgun with him, actually, as always, Senior Gabe Gearing. How you feeling, man?
That's not true. I'm just like, yo, hand me the aux cord. Hand me the aux cord. I want to listen to my intros now.
Right now.
I'm good, man. I feel so good coming from the other end. Less pressure, I'm just sitting in the pocket, just mad protection from my boys here. Man, I feel like I could go for about 350, 3 TDs tonight. I don't know. I'm feeling it.
I mean, man, What has you feeling this good? Is it Jamba Juice, kombucha? What's the secret sauce?
Well, we know the sauce exists on FF Man Bun's side of things. So certainly that, but shoot, man, I just here with some of my favorite people. Would you like to introduce those people, J Mike, or should I do that?
How about you do that?
Okay, well, shoot, we've got 2 out of 3 of our guests here. I was trying to share my screen and troll the other guest and just show his face. Maybe we can figure something like that out. J Mike, maybe since you're producing and all, we could really use a troll job here. Anyways, in the meantime, we'll introduce our guests, newcomer and oldcomer, and that has nothing to do with age, Pete. I'm just saying you've been here before. How many times have you been here, Pete?
I think this is actually my second stop.
Okay.
So
well, welcome to the show, man.
Hopefully not my last. Thanks, man. I had a good time the last time. We had Andy Singleton. Remember that? We had a good time.
Ah, that's right. He stole
we got a little rowdy.
It became his show.
Yeah, he literally stole the show and renamed us and everything else. It was literally the Andy Singleton show.
No, yeah. I mean, we had to
he was fired up
with a new title for the show. Thankfully, we were calling it Open Bar back then, and then we gave him that, and now we have the Open Bar. So everything's good and gravy. But happy to have you, brother. And we were talking off air that this could possibly be the peak viewing time for Open Bar because you are, in fact, Pete Davidson.
Yeah, like
tell us more.
I woke up this morning and I'd gone viral, but it wasn't me, and it ends up not being that viral. But yeah, it's like I don't know, every 6 weeks or so, my namesake does something. You know, sometimes it's something like yelling at a bunch of people last night, and then sometimes he shows up at a basketball game with Kate Beckinsale. Either way, my account gets rained with like lost souls, wondering like if I'm the guy from SNL. You know, I mean, I look a lot like him. Makes sense.
Is it? Did you, hopefully it's not how you wake up like from Memento and you're like you're not Pete Davidson, but actually you are. You're just not that Pete Davidson. You're not the host of SNL.
I should tattoo my rankings, my cheat sheets on my forehead. That'd be a good idea.
Stop drafting Andrew Luck.
Memento is a hugely underrated movie, though. That's a really good movie.
It's possibly top 10 for me.
Yeah, no, that's some good action.
On to the next newcomer to the pod, Ryan. He informed me that we are in SFB together. Same with 1,198 other people, Ryan. Neat, dude.
Yep.
Welcome to the show, man. So happy to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Glad I finally am starting to look old enough to be at an open bar. So I guess that was the rite of passage. So excited to be here.
Wait, looking old enough? Ryan, is this can we do this? Looking old enough or are old enough? Ryan, just tell us.
I'm old enough, yeah. I'm good. Still got that college profile going on. So
look, the last thing that this show needs, Ryan, is any kind of extra heat on it from the feds, from Big Brother.
Oh, we're all good. All good.
We don't have that much to fall back on. It's this or I'm back to ski masks and robbing old ladies who cross the street. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying.
It's all Bud Light season for me. Dilly. Not too broke for anything else right now.
All right, that's fair. I mean, yeah, I remember that. I was on the Keystone Light. I mean, I'm still poor. I just act like I can spend $10 on 6 beers every day, and it just doesn't make sense.
I'm drinking what's left over from my draft this weekend. You gotta love that.
That same beer?
No. Like everybody brings a 12 and nobody finishes it. So it's like mixed beverages for like a week or so after everybody leaves. It's nice. It's the best reason to host a draft. And I was showing you before, man, like somebody left a bottle of Macallan. You gotta love that.
That's
Gabe, he gave you that look like a dog who's looking at his owner. He's confused by what they did.
J-Mike,
I wasn't sure what he said.
yeah. I don't know. It's like teaching an old dog new tricks, man. I just can't get through to you, Pete.
I'm up for it. But yeah, I learned slow.
One step at a time, buddy. We got you. J Mike, do you want to produce, or I was going to show this comment from the chat? Is that cool?
Go for it.
I don't want to step. I don't want to step, man.
Man, we have been a team for 3 years now, 2+ years. Mikasa, Sukasa, we share everything. I think except for our wives. So yeah, have at it.
Where are we going for our anniversary, by the way? Where have you thought about that yet?
I don't know. Maybe we can put that out in the chat. Let the chat figure out where should Gabe and I spend our 3-year anniversary for the show. Where should we go? Where should we meet? What should we do? I like that. But yeah, go ahead, Gabe, with the comment from the chat. I'm excited to see what.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing huge. It's just, since he's not here, we just have to make this happen. And sorry for the surprise, but this man is not, in fact, here. John Bosch. He is, guess what? Auctioning. Honestly, it's like that. It's like that tweet where you said like quote tweet with something that no one will believe and they'll know that you're in trouble or something. That would definitely be Bosch's in terms of auctioning. That
Blink twice.
Yeah.
Bosch is in the snake draft. I think that's the that's the one that lets you know something is definitely wrong here.
This is nice tech with the questions up on the screen, though. I'm impressed.
Hey, thanks.
That's
Pete.
pretty nice. Yeah.
Sorry,
cool.
We're kind of covering up your mouths, but if John Bosch was here, we would not have that issue.
That's true. It's a winning move.
Gabe, before we jump into everything, I just want to make sure that we shout out one of the main things that was put in the chat here as it pertains to where we should spend our anniversary, if you will. And shout out to Casey, the first lady of the open bar. Casey, who did a snake draft with Bosch last night. She's the homie as well from Texas. What's up, Casey? I don't know if you noticed this, Gabe, but there were 3 consecutive things in the chat here, 3 consecutive comments. Okay. Zach says that Maine is nice this time of year.
Love the canned lobster up there.
Yeah, all the canned lobster one man can handle. I'm pretty sure they do that in Kyle's basement while they record Dynasty Dummies. Pretty sure that's how that works. Kyle was co-signing. He was co-signing the Maine and the whole canned lobster thing. I'm pretty sure that's what that era was. Endorsing canned lobster. And lastly, Aaron B. He says Maine vacation land.
Is Aaron in Maine?
He's also in Maine.
Aaron.
Right?
I'm going to be like 5 minutes south of Maine in a couple of days. I can't wait.
Okay.
Are you seriously?
Yeah, I'm going up to Rockport, Mass. It's going to be very nice. Like ocean.
What's up there?
I got a buddy with a beach house, and he's finally relented and allowed us to come up. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to bring a bottle of Macallan and my tired ass self and pretty much just sleep for 3 days, I think. No rankings updates this weekend. Damn it. I'm sorry. Was that out loud? I told you I was going to be comic relief tonight.
Give us the rankings, Pete, right now.
Yes.
Who is your 34th ranked player? I'm at the end of the 3rd right now in my redraft. And is this redraft?
You want overall, or you want at a particular position?
Overall, I need the 34th because I have the 3rd pick overall, and I'm coming around in the 3rd round of my redraft league. Even though what would I be, the 10th? I don't know.
My board says Mr. Cooks at 34.
It would be the 10th overall. Cooks.
That's that's who I have at 34 right now.
Okay.
It's tough. Yeah, I mean, we've had to move some people up because we got people dropping out. People just dropping off the map. I mean, the bottom of the third round, I don't know. For me, that's one of the places where it gets a little ugly sometimes. Like if people are really freaking smart and I've got an end pick, the bottom of the third can get a little dicey.
That's so funny that you say that, Pete, because in drafts, for me specifically, I've noticed that I really like the 1-2 turn, but I do not like the 2-3, the 4-5. I feel like that's a really ugly place in drafts. But the other end, for whatever reason, I like a whole lot more, like all the way down the board. It's so weird.
You know, you're right. Like the 2-3 was pretty beautiful just like a month or so ago. But yeah, the 2-3 is not quite as easy as it was before. And Damian Williams flashing and looking better helps a little bit for people who are willing to take him there. Like I feel better about, you know, taking a big time running back and then coming back with Williams and something else, you know, top, you know, back end of the second, early third. I feel good about that now. It was a little bit nervous, you know, taking him when he had the hamstring thing.
Should people feel similarly about Kenyon Drake being in a walking boot? And now that he's back, is he going to go back to the whatever round he was in, third, fourth round? I
don't know about third, fourth, but I definitely think he bounces up like somewhere close to where he was. I think I had him like in the 6-7 kind of area, and then I moved him down to around 100 when he was in the boot. But yeah, I moved him back up the other day once I knew he was out of the boot and doing side work and stuff. Sounds like he'd probably be there for week 1 from what I can figure. And Balaj didn't really do anything to help himself in the interim other than some like glowing practice reports. So, and if you look at Miami's schedule, I almost want the guy who doesn't win the starting job, because the first couple of games for Miami, wow, that is some brutal stuff. It really is. I don't have it off the top of my head. I'm going to look it up now, but I know it was like, I looked at it the other day. I was like, oof, Balaj, good luck with that, dude. Let me see. Yeah, Baltimore, New England, Dallas, Chargers. That ain't fun.
No, you can have that.
Yeah. So they're definitely going to. I think tough out of the box. So if it's Balaj, I mean, game script's not going to be good for him. I almost feel better about Drake now. Because I mean, I wonder what's up with that coaching staff. The Flores and company, they got some weird stuff going on down there. They're down on Stills. They're up on Balaj. I don't know. That's weird for a Belichick kind of coach for a bunch of guys from New England.
Down on Rosen.
Yeah, down on Rosen. They seem to not like the guys who are a little different. I mean, I guess that's par for the course with NFL coaches, but I mean, you sort of knew Rosen was sort of a different kind of guy when you dealt for him. It's not like he was hiding it. So I don't know. And how I don't know how you play Fitzpatrick over Rosen. From what I've seen, Rosen didn't play that bad. No way.
With Balaj and Drake, I mean, and like you said, maybe the ADP gets further and further apart, but I mean, ever since, I don't know, minicamp, it's just gotten so close. I mean, they're within picks of each other now in like 7th round. And I mean, I've seen Balaj go way ahead of Drake in recent redraft.
Yeah.
So, I mean, wow.
I personally don't see it. I mean, I'd rather have Drake personally. Balaj is one of those guys who looks really good in spandex, catching passes. And I told you some weird stuff going to be coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, let me just create a banner real quick.
But he's a workout guy in pads. It's never quite as good. This guy couldn't get like Demario Richard off the field in college. So there's always been like that disconnect with Balaj between like what you see at his peak and what you get on a play-to-play basis. And it's sort of weird because Drake has sort of had that same thing where no one ever really committed to him. But at the same time, he was like making big plays in big games for Alabama, So, I mean, no one's ever given him the full thing, but nobody's ever taken him away either. Like he's always had a role.
All right, let's go with this.
Yeah, I want him wearing Sammy Lane's singlet. That's what I want.
Yeah, Stumpy's in the chat too. What's up? Let's see. Hey,
it's all good, Stumpy. I wrestled in high school too. It's all good.
Shout out to everyone in the chat. Stumpy being one of those people. What's going on? Everybody showing love this evening, and
I did want to go back to that one, J Mike.
Yeah.
Speaking
I
of the
feel like-
chat, because I liked this. I wanted to talk
Ooh.
about it for a Mo, just a Mo.
Yes.
That's a
I
high
just
watermark.
took him. I just took him at I took him at the end of the third, or no, fourth, excuse me. So I took him at 46th
Right.
overall. And
That's
he was
right,
like
the zone.
21st wide receiver off the board. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I feel like that was more of a steal, but I'm curious what people think about 31 overall, and that
And,
being
and
like
for context,
13th, 14th off the board, maybe around that range.
So,
I don't know.
yeah.
for context, Zach said that Thielen, Cooks, Diggs, and Freeman all were still on the board when Godwin went.
Wow.
Mm.
Thielen, Cooks, Diggs, Devonta Freeman. Ryan, please give me your thoughts on it.
So, I mean, if he's taking Godwin at 31, he must be worried that it's not going to drop down to 42. But I mean, I personally would have gone Thielen in that situation. I think I know the reports about the run heavy offense, but their Diggs and Thielen are still going to get theirs. I think Thielen's a top. I think Diggs or Thielen both are top 12, top 14 wide receivers. And I really like Godwin this year as well. But I mean, I probably would have leaned toward one of them. But if he's your guy and it's all about getting your guys, I don't mind reaching at all if you're worried that somebody's going to get him before 42.
Man.
It's crazy what you said. I mean, we can talk about Godwin more in a second, but Ryan, that you said, let me get this banner out of your face so I can look you in the eyes while you're
Here.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Hey.
Last week I was down there for anything about my eyes.
So the what you said, you expect Diggs and Thielen to both be top 12 wide receivers, and we were talking about how it's even possible for them to both be top 24 last year, and even the possibility of maybe them being top 12. And now we kind of treat it like an expectation, because in ADP too, not just you saying that, but it's like, I think that's just absolutely nuts to expect something like that. But I'm kind of with it.
Yeah. I think it's an interesting situation, because on teams that we've talked about that before in the past, they've both been perimeter guys or, something like that. But with Thielen playing predominantly in the slot and Thielen or Diggs on the outside a lot, I think it kind of lets them both get their own a lot easier than just two perimeter guys trying to battle for that kind of outside role. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but that's kind of how I see it.
There's like a crazy amount of like concentration in terms of the targets between those two guys. You don't see it that often. I mean, that's sort of how it works. Unless they find a third spoke where targets are going to flow to, who's not the running back. I think they're going to maintain a pretty solid amount of that share that they've established. I guess the real question is, are they going to, and they were a tale of two seasons, right? There's the first half and the second half roughly. But there was some circumstance in the second half, and they brought in Kubiak. Kubiak is going to commit to the run, but he's not going to just run. Like he's a balanced guy. So I think you can count on a certain degree of passing, and with the way they concentrate between those two guys. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I feel very comfortable taking either one in the third.
Do you have anything else to say about Godwin too, Pete? I'm sorry for going on tangents.
No. I mean, when you look at, my projections for those guys are really, it's not that far off. So, I mean, I can see taking Godwin there. It doesn't bother me. It's such a projection. That's the thing. You're taking a guy who's never done it before. So there's some guts involved in doing it. But he's shown the skill set, and now we're in an Arians offense. The scheme's going to be good. The routes are going to be well designed. You got an aggressive quarterback. I don't have a problem with it.
Well, it all kind of ties together, I guess, here, because it's a good juxtaposition to have Thielen, Diggs, and then Evans, Godwin. I think that's what people are at least hoping for. They certainly expected out of Evans to be taking him, as the 10th wide receiver off the board or wherever he's going, second round, whatever. And then Godwin, a few rounds later. But the way people talk about it, they certainly, I think, are expecting a Diggs Thielen season.
Yeah, I mean, there is that aggressive tight end in the mix there, but you also have the Arians factor.
Kyle Rudolph.
Well, no, I mean you're right. Actually, I was surprised at the way his volume went down last year. So I agree with you. Rudolph, I would think would get more, and maybe with Kubiak and he will. That's possible.
Yeah, and the last 3 weeks of 2018, Rudolph had pretty decent target share, or him and the tight ends, Conklin, I believe. Then two combined were great. So I think, yeah, it's being underrated for sure.
He had that one huge game. Was it like week 16? I remember it was against me in the Capitalist Pigs thing. He put up like 50.
Something was like a 44-yard Hail Mary, but other than
Right,
that, even without that, it was still good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that Hail Mary, mother.
Wow. I just and maybe I recognize the hype to some degree, but I don't think that I fully grasped it. Fantasy Football Calculator in 1,312 mocks that were done between the 26th and the 27th. They're showing Mr. Chris Godwin going at around 405 as wide receiver 17. So he's sandwiched between Robert Woods and Tyler Lockett. For this season, can you rank those three guys? Robert Woods, Chris Godwin, Tyler Lockett.
Lockett, space, Godwin, space, Woods.
That's about where I'm at too. Probably with less spaces, but same order.
Interesting. I'm the opposite on my projections. I have Woods, Godwin, Lockett.
I mean, mine are in the same tier. You can flip. These guys are all really close. You know, for me, Lockett is just safe, but then again, it's not like he's not prone to injury on some level. So to me, Lockett's performance is almost like beyond a shadow of a doubt. I would be so blown away if he failed on a performance basis. But there is some injury risk, so there's that. But dear God, the targets, like right now, who else are they going to throw to? I mean, Lockett's got to be locked in around 10 a game right now until they figure out some other options.
And that was the interesting thing to watch last night, Pete. When in the not last night, a couple days ago in their game against the Chargers, week 3 of the preseason, we watched a very similar Seattle offense do what they did last season. Pound, big chunk, right? They would continue to do that, and they continued that. And for any of us who were thinking that maybe we'd see Russell Wilson take step out of the shadows of Schottenheimer's grasp, if you will. I don't think that's what they've showed us in terms of being any different. Lockett was still someone that is still running wide open behind secondaries, still running with a step beating most folks. And as long as he's continuing to make big plays, which I think that's their entire MO behind this offense, is to not turn the ball over, continue to let Carson pick his spots, Penny to hit a big one every now and again, but to go play action and go up top. Lockett is still going to be someone who's going to offer teams so much value, and we're still going to be undervaluing him as a fantasy asset. So I'm super, super excited to see Lockett this season. Although I am a Woods guy first and foremost. I have to say that.
I'm with you on all of that. And I think some people maybe, I think, are underestimating his ability to run like stick routes and, all the route tree. I mean, Lockett can run everything. And I mean, he runs it perfect. So to me, they can do all kinds of stuff with him. I mean, we all want an uptick in throw volume for them. I know it's sort of praying into the wind, but Schottenheimer, I think, has more ability to expand what he does than Bevel did. But it's about the inclination to actually do it. So, yeah, I'm not betting on it.
Yeah, the one thing that I was trying to pull this up is a tweet that Scott Barrett put out last week about Tyler Lockett, and I think Tyler Lockett is going to do great in the slot. And I agree, there's nobody really else around there. But it was a quote from an article that said that Schottenheimer's wide receiver 1, even in the Baldwin days and everything like that. Like in the last 7 seasons, he's had 3 or 4 years of the wide receiver 1 was in the 30s in terms of total targets, and 3 years in the 50s. So like that kind of target volume, I don't know who else he's going to throw it to, with David Moore getting hurt some and DK Metcalf recovering, but just that fact alone, that he's never ranked above 30th from a wide receiver 1 in terms of total targets. That's kind of just my only hesitation I can get on Tyler Lockett. He was a beast last year, but yeah, just that overall volume with the Seattle offense, I'm not sure.
And it was a lot of touchdowns last year, and just super efficient with his targets. So I'm totally with you there. I don't know how to explain why there weren't targets for him though. And even looking to this year, like I still wouldn't understand how, like you said, Pete, that he doesn't get 10 targets a game. It just seems absolutely psychotic. Like he's the number 1 wide receiver on that team. And sure, it's run first, but we've seen it with Baldwin, so that's kind of my expectation, I guess.
Yeah, I just think Lockett has the ability to run a lot more routes than they've had him running. He has been doing a lot of deep stuff, and they have sort of meshed him together. The route trees of Baldwin and Lockett sort of fit together like a jigsaw puzzle. Well, one of the pieces is totally gone. So I'm obviously could be wrong on this, but it seems to me that when you look at skill sets, Lockett has to pick up a lot of Baldwin's routes. He has to. Otherwise, they're going to get rid of the routes. And they're not. I don't think Lockett is Baldwin, but he's definitely the closest thing they have to Baldwin. And he does some things better. Mm-hmm. His double move is like crazy good.
Oh yeah. I mean, when they were even when they were on the same team, they were top 10, 15 route runners in the league. I mean,
yeah. So you've got a great quarterback. You've got a great route runner. I mean, yes, they've got that conservative disposition and it's not going to go away. But I mean, what was their run rate last year? Was it like 54% or something like that? That's nothing but just off the top of my head guess.
You're probably right. You're probably pretty close.
I'm literally just throwing a Donald Trump number out there. But sorry. Sorry, stick to sports. I'm going to look it up now.
So this is one of the things that I think Seattle puts to the test for a lot of us. And I've heard this on various podcasts that in quarterbacks, we look for the efficiency, right? So it's not so much that you have to throw the ball 700 times or 600 some odd times, but how efficient are you being with the attempts that you do have? Because we saw the season where Matt Stafford threw the ball over 700 some odd times, but the yardage and touchdowns weren't really all that impressive for the amount of times they threw the ball. Also, with that being said, we just watched Russell Wilson be super, even though the volume wasn't there last year, we watched him be super efficient and prop someone like Lockett to be someone who could, what was he, top 15, top 18 last year, Lockett? In terms of where he finished, somewhere along that lines? Somewhere along those lines in PPR?
Yeah, I'm not even sure. But I can tell you that Seattle threw the ball 47.56% of the time. And that was not from my where. So, I mean,
good job.
So we get into these pass rates all the time, but it's like a couple percentage points each way. They're going to throw 47% of the time. There's going to be some passes out there, and they're going to be coming from Russell Wilson. So, yeah, we know when we see like a huge concentration of big plays and touchdowns, you're begging for regression. But in this case, I have to say, at least we know it was a big-time quarterback making the passes and a guy who's really good on the other end, and the volume's going to go up this year. So, I don't know. I feel like at least fantasy point-wise, we should get a similar return to last year. It may not look the same when we look at how it's spread out, more catches, less touchdowns, a little bit more grinding it out with yardage. But I think the general level of production is going to be similar.
Pete, not sure if you noticed or if you have this pulled up at all, but when it comes to your leagues, there was something that was brought up here. One, Mr. Tyler Gunther. What's up, Tyler? Shout out to you, sir.
Tyler,
he wants him some Thielen.
This dude is persistent, man. This is too much. I'm being followed onto shows now. Tyler, stop it. You are not getting out of Thielen.
FF Stalker, a.k.a. Tyler Gunther. I like that.
He's been offering me up Galladay for Thielen. It's sort of tempting. And then the other day he threw in Peterson to try to like give it. Oh, now I'm going to do it. AP, yeah. That RB5 was going to really make the deal happen, Tyler. Oh man. But we can talk. We can talk. Listen, Tyler's team is like far and away in that league. I think probably got the best roster in the league. So giving him Adam Thielen on a year where I think he's going to have a good year, even if I sort of like the deal, it's probably not going to happen. I'm playing for winning, baby. I want to win the league this year. I got Odell Beckham. I got Thielen. I got Michael Thomas. I got Dalvin Cook, James Conner. I got Ertz at tight end premium. I'm still not as good as Tyler, but man, I'm not walking that team back. I'm pushing that team ahead.
Wow, it even sounds hard to not be better than Tyler there.
He's got a good team.
That's a good team.
He's got a legit good team. So I'm sort of in the business of not making the best team in my league better.
Always a really good strategy.
Yeah, if Doug Eddy was here, he would point out that the best team does not always win, because Doug Eddy won the league last year. I'm saying that because I know if Doug was here, he would want that said.
Mm-hmm.
He would definitely want that to be known. That's without a doubt.
Right.
Kyle likes Christian Kirk, not far behind that group of guys that we talked through, the Woods, Lockett, Godwin group.
Kirk's interesting, right? He feels like he's got a bigger range of outcomes. Like I feel more floor concerns with him, but with that offense, I also think maybe, who knows, he could go crazy, right? With all that crazy volume.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you feel that way about Kirk being, similar to that of Godwin or Woods or whatever, kind of at least in that range, I mean, you can absolutely get that at a discount too. 3 rounds, 4 rounds later, probably.
I've seen Kirk. Kirk is slipping more than he did like a month ago. Definitely.
Yeah.
He's dipping down because they got so many guys there. I mean, maybe that's going to change now. They looked a little bit better last week, and I don't know, maybe those who thought Hakeem Butler was going to be a volume weapon or something. But
I worry about Keyshawn.
Yeah, hey, Keyshawn's looking good. But if they're really going to be playing double slot most of the year, I don't know. I have a tough time seeing how Kirk's not going to be good. Y'all with me?
Yes, I am. I think we don't necessarily know if he's the 1 or like a 1A and part of a like 1A, 1B, 1C type of thing. Like you said, the range of outcomes is just far wider than that of those other 3 guys. But he's cheaper, and that's exactly why.
Yep. We've got that factor with that offense, right? There's like a flake factor now. We're hoping that the coaching is going to hold up, that they're going to make like week-to-week adjustments, and that the offense will work. And if it does, I think we're going to be cashing checks and partying and all that. But I think there's that recent taste in our mouth. I mean, Arizona was so bad last year. We really got punked. A lot of us. It was sort of a bad beat, but maybe we sort of should have seen it coming too. I mean, I had David Johnson right in the middle of my first round, so I'm totally busted on this. But in retrospect, coaching change, go to a defensive coach, you're losing Arians in the scheme. We probably should have seen that coming a little better than we did, like as an industry.
Yeah.
One of the things that they tried to punk us with this week in week 3 of the preseason. Not sure if you guys noticed this when you watched the game, but they came out in 12 personnel. And they had Larry Fitzgerald and Damiere Byrd starting.
Byrd looked good.
The very next play, they come out with 13 personnel. And so all these things that we've heard and we've thought about as it pertains to Cliff Kingsbury and what to expect from him and his time at Texas Tech, all these things, they kind of threw a wrench into that for a minute and had me just kind of puzzled, like, wait a second, like this is not what people have been reporting. This is not what we anticipated. And then finally on that drive, I think it was either their first or second drive of the game, Christian Kirk finally comes in, and his first play on the field, he was targeted in the end zone, and Kyler Murray was just late on the corner route. Otherwise, it would have been a touchdown. But it was just funny how he wasn't out there at all, and then they got close to the red zone, and he immediately comes in, and he's the target right out the gate. So that offense is going to be so interesting to track all season. I'm so excited to follow that. So excited to follow it.
Same here. Same here. I can't wait to watch them play a real game. Like preseason, I don't want to watch any more Arizona preseason, but I can't wait to watch it when the bullets start flying because I want to see what Kingsbury's got. I don't think we really know right now.
Nope.
And people go vanilla in preseason. I don't know what you call what they were doing. That was like vanilla with sprinkles or something. I mean, it obviously wasn't their offense, you know?
Yeah.
Ryan, we got to get you your shine. Sorry about that.
Hey, everybody. Here I am, right here.
Say something about
This is where the money's made.
man.
I'm still here. Still here.
Yeah, where do you land on the Cardinals? You feeling Kyler? You feeling the pieces? Nervous about it? Apprehensive?
I think this is kind of a lame take, I think, but they're kind of a team that in redraft, I'm looking to get some of those guys after week 4. I'm okay with missing out on them this first year, if that's what it takes, just in terms of the Cardinals offense in general. But I think there might be a little bit of handshaking that needs to happen with that offense, with Cliff Kingsbury's system and everybody that's all these moving pieces in the Cardinals offense. So if it's somebody I can buy low on around week 4, if someone's starting to panic, I'd much rather do that and bet on the Cardinals that way if I can. But if not, then I'd rather just go with somebody else at wide receiver. Or I like David Johnson as a late first-round pick, but other than that, the wide receivers I'm not really comfortable with at ADP right now. They're a little too high for me.
Does the O-line worry anyone for David Johnson, or is just we're cool?
I think maybe I'm more worried for Kyler.
Yeah.
I mean, the offensive line's just a worry, period. You're right. I'm with you. But
that's a worry for Kirk too, I think.
Like if the passing game isn't nothing, if it's a land rush on every damn drop back, then we got problems. As long as the passing game works, I think they're going to be able to run off of the passing game, and the line won't be as big a factor. But if they have to earn everything, then then it's going to be a problem. Straight up, no doubt about it.
And maybe the offense kind of helps that offensive line not seem as mediocre. Like we have no idea what that looks like. Maybe it creates opportunities to where the defense doesn't exactly know how to read. And I'm completely speaking out of Pete's ass right now. So
but like I'm, except for that last part, I'm with you. And like, like they need to get the ball out of his hands. They need to vary the runs. They need to do a lot of different things. So the defense can't just pick a spot, pin their ears back, and get after that kid. If they keep the defense off balance and they're doing different things with Kyler, getting the ball out, rolling him out, then I think a lot of really good things could happen there. But it's about the coaching. They need good coaching. They need a good aggressive scheme. If they go static vanilla, but I don't think they will. But we've seen this before. I'm hoping for like a Chip Kelly scenario where they're playing fast pace and there's a lot of action, and at least we get a lot of plays. Even if it's ugly some weeks, at least we're getting a lot of juice. Hopefully they don't sort of go into a shell if things start going wrong. We'll see.
Yeah. I think the start to Deshaun Watson's career was kind of the case study of why they should be doing that. Exactly.
Talk about it, Ryan. Talk about it.
Same exact thing, in my opinion. And that's exactly why Kingsbury needs to keep it up tempo to give Murray that space.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly. You attack the defense. Don't let them attack you. You really have to be proactive, and don't have him back there holding the football. Get him moving around. Get a lot of plays where he's getting rid of the ball quick. Get a lot of quick shots to DJ, and change the formation up. Get DJ up on the line. Everything except what the Giants did with Barkley last year. Like, don't do that. Don't have a static offense where people are standing in the same damn places. I mean, this is a game of surprise, folks. Try something different. I mean, I can't. I think I don't remember which pod it was on. I did like 9 of them in the last 5 days, but. The way they used Barkley was it was like they used 80% of the player. They just kept 20% of the player in the garage, and it was the 20% that really could have helped them. So hopefully we don't see that. Sorry, that was long-winded.
No, that's good. the Ryan, and I love that you brought that up because I do distinctly remember because Houston's offensive line has been not good for a few years now, right? So they had Dwayne Brown, even though Dwayne Brown was, he was good at one time, and then he ended up getting traded. But then we watched Deshaun Watson come in, and I distinctly remember a game where I think it might have been his first start or when he first came in Cincinnati. And Cincinnati was getting after his behind something awful, and that happened all year. And one of the things that Houston I remember doing, they would have the ball in his hands for so long with these long developing things downfield. And I think that they for 2 seasons, they've tried to get him killed. They have Bill O'Brien has literally tried to get Deshaun Watson absolutely impaled and just destroyed. So and what we've seen from Kyler, which has been maybe something that Cliff, I don't necessarily think that he pulled it from Bill O'Brien in that righting his wrongs per se, but he's making sure that the ball is not sitting in Kyler's hands for 15 years, which has been incredible to see even in the preseason. I'm just excited to see that. So if they start implementing even what we think that they are, where they're saying, hey, they're running plays with like 20 left on the play clock. If we start seeing those things, sky's the limit for this offense, and I want pieces of it now before it gets out of control with ADP, because I do think that Kyler out the gate can be a QB1, and right now in drafts, Fantasy Football Calculator has him going as QB13 overall. So let me ask this real quick, one-word answers. Do you all see Kyler Murray being a QB1, so top 12 QB, or in that range, in that area somewhere this season?
Yeah. You said one word.
Yeah. Yep.
Sure.
Pete following the rules this episode. Last time you were a rule breaker. It was a lot more fun that way.
Okay. Well, I can,
You just poured something.
I told you I'm going to embarrass
spicy,
myself.
okay? It's coming, J. Mike.
I had Reeves and I talked about this morning, and I got a little passionate about it because I feel like the Texans are going down that same road that the Colts went down with Luck, and I can see Deshaun getting booed as he retires when he's 29, and it's not going to be right, and it's going to be the Texans' freaking fault, just like it was the Colts' fault what went down the other day. I mean, yeah, Andrew Luck's retired at 29. He took 20 years of hits in 7 years. That's why he's retiring. I mean, F and A, man.
F and A, man.
Oh, sorry, everybody's getting on Luck. I mean, anybody who watched that guy play in 2015. I mean, I've never seen a quarterback take hits like that. It was like Ken O'Brien in the 80s, man. I mean, so what the Texans are doing with Deshaun is just as bad. It's just how do you get a quarterback like that? You're lucky enough to have a franchise quarterback, right, and you make no effort to protect them. And with Watson, 2 ACLs already. What are you waiting for?
Mm-hmm.
I'm done.
I don't know what to, I don't know.
Go Simone, let's go.
Come on, Pete. Houston's messing up, man. Houston's messing up.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know they want to get weapons. I know they've got other things they got to do, but protect your quarterback. I mean, the kid plays with so much heart. Protect him. I mean, we've seen the before and after shot, right? We know what this thing looks like without Deshaun. Protect the man.
Yeah, I saw a tweet yesterday or something that they're possibly in the market for a wide receiver, and of all spots to be looking at right now on the offensive side, I don't know why wide receiver is the one you're looking at.
Yeah, that blew my mind too.
I think it was in the game. I think it was in the game they just played against Dallas, and Jake Anderson brought up a fantastic point in terms of Watson needing to be smarter and play smarter as well. Sure. He's saying, hey, he's put himself in some not so fantastic positions previously, and it was this last game I'm pretty sure I watched against Dallas where either on the first or second drive, Deshaun Watson has I think Duke Johnson leaked out right in front of him, just for a little dump off, and he had 2 guys out to the right of either flat where he could have just got the ball off to, and he ended up kind of bumbling around and taking a sack and fumbling on the play. And I was like, what? It's the preseason. Why are you even taking hits right now? What, Deshaun? Stop. We need you.
He doesn't know how not to.
We need you. Yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? So we've seen guys like Mahomes who take off running and slide in the preseason because they recognize, okay, I'm not going to get destroyed right now. And for whatever reason, Watson does not want to, I guess, preserve himself. And I don't know if it's the mindset thing or he's not thinking, whatever the case is. It's like, dude, you are such a special player and Houston needs you. Like Houston needs you. So please just make smart choices, please.
Yeah, I mean, they just look. I understand he holds the ball. Some of the sacks, some of them are on Deshaun. That's fair, but too many plays are breaking down too fast. If you watch their film, he's on the run too damn fast. That's the thing. I mean, I understand he's a confident kid. He's going to hold the ball sometimes. He's going to hold it to make a play, and maybe sometimes he shouldn't. Like that's all fine. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about how much time he's got, and too often it's just like not even close to enough.
You got it now, Stompy. Chill.
Hello, Sam.
You now made the show. You made it twice. You made it twice.
Yeah. We're trying to tell him.
Thirsty in the chat with this whole little streaming thing that we have now that they just want to be featured on the show.
He's still the champ, man. Like I got a T-shirt. He's got a ring. That's the way it goes.
Yeah. I think he missed the part where we were talking about him earlier in the show when I think he must have dipped out for a moment. But you were talking about the singlet and everything else. You were giving him his flowers, Pete, and then all of a sudden he kicks down the door again like we didn't show him love earlier. I don't understand.
He made an assumption. It was probably a reasonable one, but he was wrong.
Oh shoot!
And where's Bosch?
Auctioning.
So
yeah, I think
we're not
he's
going to
still
see Bosch,
auctioning.
are we?
I mean, we've got so many hours left in the day. So.
Y'all didn't tell me. How long does this thing go? I don't care.
Yeah. We've got Har in here. He's going to challenge us to go as long as possible. Our house would do the same.
Pete, it's a good thing I'm in the director's chair today because
kind of
in the co-director's chair today because I see the clock ticking. We always try to be mindful of your time and be respectful of everyone's time. So about the 90-minute mark.
Okay.
Unless Gabe chastises me, we will.
I usually have something to get off my chest around 90-minute, 87th minute, and like I forgot to mention.
I'm here for it.
Go a little stoppage time,
Squeezing that sponge.
I know that's not the right sport. Sorry, but tried to squeeze in that reference. Hey, back to the Texans real quick. I'll try to squeeze this in before the 87th minute. I know this is kind of just a topic around, but with Duke Johnson, and you mentioned him a little bit, I think, J. Mike, of your dissatisfaction with one of the plays that Deshaun had with him. Let's assume that they pick up another running back, an Ajayi, or they trade for a running back that is more of the ground and pound role, the Crowell role, to kind of compare.
That'd be perfect. No, I mean, I want an early down pounder for Duke so he doesn't lose any passing down juice.
Sure. And so is that, I kind of feel like it would be better because his value would drop, but I think it'd be better for him. Because I mean, that is where he succeeds. It is when he has someone to kind of take that load and he does his thing that he's good at. Because I don't think he's good at a lead back role. I don't think that's going to be good.
I mean, I love the way he ran the football in a lead role when he was at Miami. He did it. Like off the top of my head, I want to say about 242 carries his senior year, caught around 40 passes, like 38 from memory, but I don't know if that's right. But I'm close. I'm real close. I mean, he can handle some volume. When he went to Cleveland, he turned into a little bit more of a passing down role. They had some early down guys, Crowell. I mean, obviously, if you have Duke and Crowell, that's how you would divide the labor, right? I mean, you would like.
Don't forget about Terrence West.
That's fair. But same deal. Terrence West was an early down guy. So I think on some level Duke sort of got like pigeonholed a little bit in Cleveland. Like I think he's got more to give than what we've seen so far. I mean, I do agree that ideally you don't want him like getting like 300 touches or some crazy thing. But like I could see him being the better half of a split where the early down guy is there to sort of supplement him, to give, to take some, to give him some rest, but not necessarily to be the guy. You know what I mean? Like a Damian Williams with Carlos Hyde kind of split. Mm-hmm. You'd want Damian Williams in there.
Mm-hmm. I just don't want his ADP to surge too much to where he's being drafted at his ceiling, because I think you're right that he's pretty much that. I know Zach's saying that he was the running back 11, but that was with Crowell there, and I think he might. And they were playing with that awful game script, and I don't think Houston's going to do that. I mean, I guess it could happen, but not maybe not Browns like. And so with that, if he's going off as like RB 18, RB 20, like that doesn't really interest me as much, because I think that's kind of his range anyways, and maybe that's just a safe pick, and that's fine. But I don't know. I'd rather sneak something away,
Well, yeah, I'm greedy too, man. I'd like to. Yeah. I was getting Duke in the 10th and the 11th and the 9th and whatever. But yeah, he's definitely moving up now. There's no way around it. I mean, in full PPR, how do you not take him? Like you get into that. I mean, are you going to take Eckler over Duke Johnson at this point? I don't know. I don't think he can do it.
No way.
Because we know the party's going to get wrecked on one of these guys somewhere around week 10-ish, and the other guy, if he stays healthy, take us the whole way.
I figure out where I just. Hey, Mike, are you waiting for something?
I am. I'm trying to. I'm trying to do something along with this to make it
got it. Yep.
more triumphant.
Carry on. Sorry for trying to produce. This is all you.
He's warming the vocal cords up.
Mm-hmm.
Like me.
I think with Duke, I'm just trying to figure out. And maybe this is more specifically for Dynasty, because I think that he definitely plays a role in this season. The question becomes, for Dynasty value, is what's Duke? What are we good with paying to get to Duke? Because we know right now ADP is going to be fuzzy on Duke. It's not going to be right. So what types of players, like Gabe, this isn't for you, but are you pushing your chips in on someone like a Cortland Sutton for Duke Johnson? Because I think that his name came up in the chat. I'm curious what you guys think of that.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Duke Johnson signed a contract when he was with Cleveland, right? So he's got what, like 2 years left on his deal? Am I wrong?
I don't know.
I think he's got either 2 or 3 years left on his deal. So they gave up a 4 that could escalate to a 3. And
I was going to say, I think it was a 4th, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I think they've committed him being a big part of their team for a while. Now, that doesn't mean they're not going to come up with some big, pounder who can also, really carry the load and then, pushes Duke into a different role. I mean, that can happen. There's no way we can protect ourselves from that. So I think that's the one thing you want to think about if you're paying, the kind of price where you think he's going to be a fixture in your dynasty lineup for multiple seasons. There is that possibility that a draft capital guy comes in and sort of rains on your parade.
Yeah, wow. He's through 2021. Dang.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And without further ado, the show that everyone's been waiting for at this point.
Yes.
Hey, fellas, what's up? Sorry for the delay. I apologize, guys.
What's up, John?
All right. So we are at the hour and 4-minute mark. The floor is yours, my friend. You have 1 hour and 4 minutes to say whatever you need to say. You might have to sit up a little bit, though, because the Zach Tacit Assassin just took over.
Yeah, that was that one went a little bit longer. I had an auction wrapping up there at the end. So Sorry about that. I apologize.
You only missed an hour
Welcome in,
and
boss.
5 minutes.
It's all good. What did your team end up looking like?
Oh man, it was a nice team. So it was a 10-team 2-quarterback league where we decided not to spend early on quarterback. I know, shocking that I'm like, you can get by on cheap quarterbacks on that. So we started out real aggressive and came out with DJ, CMC, Nuke, Devontae Adams, and Travis Kelce. That was insane.
Oh my God.
And then we just kind of sat there and waited and picked up 3 quarterbacks in the middle. We got Josh Allen, Derek Carr, and Nick Foles. Then we didn't do anything again until we had to take like end of the roster dollar players and got some cheap ones. Geis, I think, was our final flex. Maybe could end up being one of the receivers we picked towards the end too. DJ Moore, actually, I think would be our final flex. So turned out looking pretty nice.
How many
Good
teams?
grief.
That's like crazy.
Oh, it was 10 team. Yeah, it was. I can't believe how it went. It was fun. Auctions are fun because you can do that kind of thing.
Yeah, you may win.
I hope so.
You got a shot.
Was that I'd assume this is a dynasty.
Nope,
league?
this was a single season redraft. Yep.
Okay. So are you okay? Are you safe? Should we send help?
Oh no, I love all fantasy football, man. I play everything. I love Dynasty because it doesn't stop, but I play DFS, I play redraft, I will play anything.
Well, that was
Chunky.
That wasn't a very fun answer.
Hey, I'm on the top row.
I can appreciate
That's called a promotion, Pete.
Yeah, I'm free from the banner. This is pretty cool.
Welcome to the top, Pete. Hello.
Yeah, baby.
Did I look the right way?
You looked at Jay, Mike. That's okay.
I don't know.
Like a Brady Bunch thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll hang out down here with Ryan. I that's okay. I'm just glad you guys still let me in.
Bosh, man, thanks again for all those eliminators, bro. Those things are so cool.
Yeah, those were fun. They did all right this year. That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's such a cool format. It really is. A really cool spin on the old like best ball thing.
Yeah, I'm glad people like them. They seem to enjoy them. That's good. We'll keep doing them.
Good. I'm definitely in next year.
Sounds good.
Yep. Let's get the draft going right now. We could probably get a snake going right now of an eliminator, Bosh. Let's set it up. We'll get us 5. We'll get the chat. It's about 17 of us. We can make that happen.
We've got like what, 20 minutes left?
Yeah.
I have a dynasty eliminator going on right now. It's an auction now. But
Of course you do.
About that. How's that? Yeah, is that good?
yeah, it's going all right. The one problem with the auction format that I've come to find with the eliminators, and you guys know this because you guys do the open bar as an auction one.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with bye weeks a lot more in the auction ones because I don't pay attention. The draft ones, I pay attention. The auction ones, I'm like, oh, sweet, I just got a great deal. And then I'm like, oh, but that's going to cause me to be out in week 7 now.
Right.
Oh, well.
You're just caught up in the nomination. You're not even looking at that.
Yeah, I just bid and I don't pay attention to it. They don't have bye weeks on the auction board, unfortunately.
Right.
So maybe next year.
Yeah, I loved my team I did in the eliminator you set up for me, but then I totally screwed myself in the bye weeks. I'm done week 4.
I've done that before. It's painful.
Yeah. If I get through week 4, though, I'm telling you, I'm going the distance.
There you go. High risk, high reward.
Yeah. Although getting knocked out of your own eliminator week 4 is probably not good form, but
there's last year like 10% of these celebrities won out in week 1. It was okay. It was pretty entertaining. Better. So yeah, don't feel bad.
Okay.
Don't feel bad. People will definitely let you know if you go out quickly in yours.
We will be going out very quickly. We were not up to date with our auction on the hour, which is what is needed for that.
Were you in Montana or something at that point?
I was.
Okay. Yeah.
Trying to pop in here and there, and yeah. I don't know.
People don't care about this. People want actionable advice, right? What have you guys been talking about tonight?
We've talked.
That's
what I'm saying. I want a break. We've talked about football.
You guys have actually talked football? Wow.
I know. It's been awful.
A little bit.
I hate it.
It's almost like it's football season.
Yeah. Ugh.
We talked about
I even asked a question.
Oh.
Gabe, now listen, Gabe. Yeah, he has two of them. Listen, you said you wanted a draft, and without, again, since I'm I have producer duties per se.
It's true. You're the producer.
I went and I reached out to the chat, told them, hey, we've got room for one more.
Okay.
And basically, it was
this an auction?
the waiver system. The waiver system that people like the least, the first come first serve.
Right.
That's what we're going with. So without further ado, introducing the newest co-host of the Superflex Super Show.
Oh my God!
What's up?
How's it going, Brian?
What's up, boys?
I'm an addict.
No chance, Gabe. I appreciate the effort. No chance. I wouldn't want to shame you like that.
Trying to bait people to
trying to rap. I'm yeah.
So Russ is really rubbing off on you now, and you're just like not just the trade addict, but now it's like podcast host addict too.
Hey, I mean, he was everywhere and reaching out everywhere. So I figured, why not go and
if he's going to be cheating around, you might as well too, huh?
Exactly. Right. That's exactly it.
It's nice to have an open relationship with your co-host.
Yeah, that's right. No doubt.
It's very nice of you guys.
Oh, what's up, guys?
Harvin the Martian. What's up, my friend? How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm excited to be in here. This is awesome. I'm really excited too because Sam's rage quitting in the chat. So this is amazing. So this is perfect. I mean, that made my evening. So
where?
In the chat that doesn't exist. Yes. Well done. Well done. Well done.
One way I can look down. I think I can figure that one out.
There you go. All I see is private chat where I said, "How do I see you all?" So that's
we're supposed.
Yeah, that's
all
I have too. I'm afraid if I try to log in, I'm gonna disappear.
Then it's time I disappear.
What are we drafting, J Mike?
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing. Now, the man who's living his best life right now, the youngest of our bunch here, college student himself, the man Ryan Miller. Ryan, you get to choose the topic of whatever you like in terms of what we are drafting this evening. So no pressure at all, but we're going to have a quick 2-round draft. It's going to be snake.
Okay.
Whatever the topic is that you want. It's like it's not an auction, it's crap.
No,
I'm out. I don't mind doing drafts.
It can be fantasy related, it can be rules related, it can be whatever you want, not fantasy, whatever. Just take us somewhere that we want to go.
People in the fantasy community you hate the most. Sweet. Shane 101.
I got the banner ready.
Let's go with
you want some clicks.
Let's go with people that you won't draft no matter what. Just anywhere. People that I'm not taking no matter what.
And we need 24 of them?
No.
Oh, okay, no.
No, 12.
Got it. All right, I can do that.
Are you going to pick the order too, Ryan?
Auction.
I can start it off. Let's go the biggest names you got, and then you work your way down too. But let's see. So I'll start it off, and then I guess we'll just go in the order of the screen. So we can go J Mike all the way down. But let's see. Someone I'm not taking is Nick Chubb redraft. So.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
J Mike, I think that about wraps up our show. Thank you for joining the Open Bar. You can go to the openbar.storenvy.com to purchase your Wubba Lubba Chub Chub t-shirt. Get yours today.
Ew. Oh, what?
I'm sorry.
Are these one-word answers, J Mike?
He's not.
I can elaborate.
All right.
Yeah, you're gonna have to because your mentions are about to be on fire.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great rusher. They're going to expand his passing work, which is great. But I mean, for redraft, I mean, is the perspective I'm talking here. I just think he's going to be somebody that gets off to a hot start with the Browns offense, but by the time the playoffs rolls around, I think his value is just going to be decreasing week by week as Hunt gets expanded into that passing work and rush game. He's just a great rusher. I think he is going to lose that bell cow grip that he's got. And I think he's going to be his least valuable at the most important time of the year.
Week 10. Week 10 is
It's
so
okay.
far
I
away.
can take it. I could take it.
Not an unreasonable position. I mean, I'm on the other side of this one,
I
but
think,
that's
and
not,
I
not an
think,
unreasonable
I think,
position.
and week 10's far away, but Hunt's guaranteed to be healthy by week 10 as well.
Yep.
Without that playing time.
Is there a number of like points per game or even just overall points per game, like among the rest of the running backs that you would need to draft Nick Chubb and you know that you have him for 8 weeks of your season? Would he have to be number one over? I mean, what's the cutoff if there is one?
What was the first part of that question?
So let's say you draft Nick Chubb, right? Super hypothetical because, this draft is all about you not drafting Nick Chubb. But how high would he have to be among all of the other running backs for those 8 weeks for it to be kind of worth it? Because we've seen, I mean, Todd Gurley did the same thing to us last year. Not that was, related to some other running back coming in and taking some of the work, but just, unfortunate injuries. But he wasn't there in the most important time. So, but certainly valuable. Yes. I mean, we could have maybe had some depth and figured something out with a championship or people got screwed. I don't know. But is there somewhere that is worth it for you for Chubb?
I mean, if it was locked and loaded, at least 6 out of the 8 weeks, he was top 4, top 3, just that game winning value that gets you into the playoffs, pretty much riding him. Then I mean the replacement value you can probably make up for that, but and that's kind of where I don't see Chubb falling to make it worth it. So that's where my take comes from. I'm already getting mentions from it, but that's kind of where that comes from.
I told you, Ryan. I didn't even put up a.
You go to Ryan. Come on, man.
I'm not allowed on any podcast with Stompy ever again. So.
I got Chubb at like 5 overall, so this is hitting me hard.
There are a lot of sharp guys that are on him, and I'm not. So that's what kind of worries me about backing off. But Jake Anderson's got my back. Apparently.
There's a lot of smart people that are giving the same take that you just gave, though. So I mean, this is one of those beauty is in the eye of the beholder kind of things. I mean, the way I see it is that Chubb's going to do really well, and the team's going to do really well. Like, let's do this. Let's poll the room for a second. Okay. What do we think? What do we think the Browns' record is going to be after 10 games?
You mean by the time Hunt is back in
7-3, 6-4, 8-2, 5-5? They suck.
3-7.
Oh, 3-7. You're gonna.
I think Brian just mic dropped with leaving the mic there, though.
If that's a real prediction.
Remind us where you're from, Brian.
Exactly.
From Happy Valley, North Carolina. I'm a Steelers fan, but that's not.
All right, look. Steelers.
I think they'll be 7-3.
Okay.
Well,
So
I think they beat the Titans. They beat the Jets.
I agree.
They lose to the Rams. Ravens
to the
could
Ravens.
go either way. That could go either way. I think they beat the 49ers.
They lose
could go
to the
either way.
Seahawks.
Yeah, they lose.
Patriots.
Lose to the Patriots. Beat the Broncos.
Probably. Beat the Bills.
Yeah, beat the Bills. Steelers probably lose.
After 9 games.
Beat the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So 5-5, realistically.
Stop.
I don't think they're
we actually think they're a good
schedule.
team. If we think they're a good team, though, they beat those under 500 teams. They smoked them for 4 or 5 games, and then the other 5, whatever y'all said, that were like they lose to them, the Rams, the Patriots, the Steelers, the Ravens. Whatever. I would think that they at least win 50% of those games if we think that the Browns are a good team, which I think most people believe that.
Right. I mean, I've got him at 7-3, and I feel like it's going to be a 7-3 that's a good 7-3. Like the losses were reasonable to good teams, kind of thing. I just don't think a team that's doing well, and I think Chubb will be doing well, is going to suddenly do something radical. Like, okay, we got this guy back that we got on the cheap because he did a bunch of really dumb shit. I don't think they're going to take that guy and inject him at like a 40% level or something into the offense. I think they'll take some juice from Chubb, certainly, and he'll lose some passing downward. I totally agree that if he's a 10 out of 10 before Hunt comes back, he won't be that. He'll be an 8 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 or something like that, just speaking in round terms. But I still think he's going to be good, so I'm willing to take a guy who will rock and roll for me for 10 weeks, get me into good position, and then, maybe he is a lightweight RB1 instead of a really good one or something like that. That's sort of the way I see it breaking out, and I'm okay with that.
I'm curious what workload is breaking into this to even make him like completely fall off the earth. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Freeman, I don't think he will.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like Devontae Freeman with Tevin Coleman, people were sweating that, and he ends up as a back-to-back, top
6.
The top 3 guy. It was a top 6.
The running backs are going to be really efficient for the Browns. They can do so many things offensively. It's not like teams are going to be like, we just have to stop Chubb and we win. I mean, good luck with that. So to me, Chubb's just in such a good situation. And if everything works out, are they really going to start messing with it when things are going well? I think they'll supplement. I think they'll say, hey, we can help ourselves by giving Chubb a rest in this way. But I don't think they're going to suddenly do something. I don't want to say disrespectful, but if someone's kicking ass for you, you don't take 40% of his job away. Like there's no real precedent for that. You know what I mean?
I guess
to be fair though, Ryan, and I feel like we're, or at least I am being super hateful or challenging or whatever. I respect your opinion wholeheartedly.
I think this is a really good debate. Ryan is smart, and I totally respect what he's saying.
Exactly.
I'm just giving you my side. That's all.
Hey, I will gladly hop into the mentions in December and accept my fate or gloat either way.
Absolutely.
As long as we agree, I can gloat or I can take it.
100%. 100%. And you're not going to have to kick me around. I'm going to.
Or even better, an open bar bet, J. Mike.
Hey, the question. What's the dividing line? Because
it's definitely a Wubba Lubba cheese shirt on that man's chest.
We should bring this crew back week 12 and revisit this.
Yes, we have to. I guess what I don't understand, Ryan, and I'm really not trying to be funny at all when I say this.
Mm-hmm.
What would be your reasonable, or what are your expectations for Chubb as it pertains not to end the season, because obviously the fantasy playoffs, you want the best roster. I get that, but obviously you still got to get off to the really good start to even put you in position to get toward the playoff push, right? So after 10 weeks, what are your expectations, or what's a range of where you feel like Chubb falls, and maybe this. And this might be unfair to ask because people don't typically break down projections on a game-to-game basis, I don't guess. Or maybe they do. I'm not smart enough to know that. But can you talk me through just your process of where you see Chubb landing?
Yeah. I can tell you some guys I think would be better than him through 10. Looking at my list, I think McCaffrey, Barkley, I think Kamara. I'd rather have Kamara than Chubb through 10 weeks. Zeke, if he's there week 1, Zeke. Connor and Chubb get kind of close to me. I don't think Samuel's a big deal. Connor's kind of the back end of that, but I could see, David Johnson, Mixon, Devontae Freeman. So probably 7 to 9, 7 to 10.
Okay. And right now on Fantasy Football Calculator, he's going as RB8. So kind of right in line with what you're saying. I find that really interesting. I hadn't heard anyone kind of fade Chubb to some degree. So I find that I just find that fascinating, and I really love to hear the perspective of it, even if it is our the patron saint of our podcast.
I know.
Chubb was going in the second round for a long time. It's not like, Ryan's point of view is definitely not he's not out there by himself all alone. There's plenty of people who feel this way.
You did not expect Chubb to be the 101 of this draft, did you?
No.
I went for the highest name I was comfortable with.
Yeah. That's guts. Yeah.
You
We got a
know.
long pod ahead of us, J. Mike.
I was going to say Melvin.
Yeah, I told Har, I said, look, we're bringing you on. We're not trying to break the record for longest pod. And then he says Nick Chubb, and it's like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
We're
Sorry,
definitely
guys.
breaking the record.
There goes that fast
No doubt,
draft.
mate. Filibuster. It's coming.
You paused
The-
you paused the draft clock, right? Like that just got paused.
100%.
Right? Commissioner
Otherwise-
stepped in, paused it.
I think it's just over. I think the draft's just over. After
Yeah.
that.
You may have won the night with that pick.
Yeah, 100%.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was the 101. I mean, literally a 101. Yeah.
The 101.
And I'm trying to get to that same place that you're talking about, Ryan. Hey, what's the highest I can go in terms of ADP right now and feel comfortable with it? I want to take the easy way out and say Antonio Brown. I want to take the easy route and say Melvin Gordon, someone
Whoa,
like that.
jeez, just keep picking on my snipe.
I know.
Little table talk on the draft board, man.
Table talk.
Jeez,
100% John Bosch.
table talk, J. Mike. Come on, man.
Only
Love
Bosch
David
could get
Johnson.
sniped in the fan draft.
Exactly.
Neither of those
I'm
two are on the top of my list.
Ryan Har, this is not personal. I need you to know that. I'm going.
Tread lightly, sir.
I'm going with Aaron Jones. I don't.
Ooh, wow. We're using like real names on this. I was going to say like house or something. You
Yeah, there's no fun in throwaway names.
guys are getting real. Damn.
Well, we're revoking your card.
Oh, is this like a personal thing? We're like naming each other's favorite players kind of thing?
Well,
I
it's
just
about
know.
to become that. I don't know if it was before. Benny
It's
Snell is it's coming.
Sorry, nobody's drafting him, so that's okay.
Him anyway. I just with Aaron Jones. Obviously, he's been hurt often in this preseason time. They expect him to still come in and be the guy, and for a large degree, I don't trust what I don't know in Green Bay right now with the new offense, with them drafting Dexter Williams, with them still having Jamal Williams and saying that he'll play a part. I do not feel comfortable taking Aaron Jones in the third round and expecting him to be my RB2 when I don't trust what will be his workload or his volume. I'm not saying he can't get it. I'm not saying he won't get it. I'm saying I don't trust it. And if I'm trying to build a team that I feel like can shoot for the stars and really get me to the ceiling that I want, Aaron Jones is not part of the equation for me in the middle of the third round.
Can I ask a follow-up?
Oh, go for it.
So who you taking?
So ideally, someone gets antsy and they take David Montgomery, they take Steph Diggs, they take Amari Cooper beforehand, and all three of the running backs are in front of Aaron Jones. I want all of those guys ahead of Aaron Jones. So Kerryon, Fournette, and definitely Devonta Freeman. He's my favorite. He's my guy to go, and I think that he gets back to right there in RB1 status. I think he's going to have a fantastic year. So Devonta Freeman, that little group ahead of Aaron Jones is all guys I like. I even think I want Chris Carson ahead of Aaron Jones. He's going right behind him. I just don't feel good about Aaron Jones there. And if I'm in the third round and things start to get dicey, I'm happy to go receiver or whatever else and just not deal with Aaron Jones because I'm not sure about Green Bay's running game. That's all.
I feel good that he's going to be the guy. I don't feel good about his durability.
Yeah, and there's that too. And again, Har, I think you're taking this personal right now.
I love Aaron Jones though, so I'm definitely hammering.
I think he's super.
I'll push the button in the third on Jones.
He's super talented, and Har's ready. I'll stop talking, Har. You go ahead.
No. Listen, so here's the deal with Jones. I think I understand where you're coming from here, but here's the problem with it. Jones between weeks 8 and 14. So when he got the starting opportunity in that offense last year, and obviously there are question marks around, is the offense going to be, as high powered as it was last year in the second half of the season and whatnot. Look, he was the running back 5 weeks 8 through 14. Now he got banged up in that week 14 game, but I think, I mean, the upside is there. Aaron Jones is clearly the most talented back in that offense. It's just a matter of a coach has to give him the stamp of approval. And once that happens, I think everybody's going to see what the kid can do. Durability is definitely an issue, I guess. I'm not as worried about it as most, I think. I mean, running backs in the NFL, right? You know, so the durability issue for me isn't as big of a deal. Again, J. Mike, I understand where you're coming from here. I just think the upside with Aaron Jones, if he does get the stamp of approval from the coaching staff, is where, you know, the guys that you mentioned.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, correct. And the guys that you mentioned, like, I don't even necessarily have a problem with you taking some of those guys over him. Now, David Montgomery, as much as I love him, I don't think I'm taking him over Aaron Jones. But some of the other guys you mentioned, I mean, Chris Carson's close, you know, but carry on and some of those guys, I think I understand that too. I'm still pretty high on Jones just altogether. I think, you know, again, if he gets that stamp of approval in that offense, he's already got the trust of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Rodgers has come out publicly and supported him in the media and whatnot, and like, hey, we got to get this guy the football. So I think, you know, it's just a matter of, I think that's where a lot of our insecurity lies too, is like the coaching staff just hasn't said, look, Aaron's our guy. If they did that, I don't think obviously we wouldn't be having this conversation, because the talent, when the talent meets the opportunity with this guy, he performs. So
it's hard for me to see any other back on this team being ahead of him. I just don't get it. I mean, Jones is more talented than the other backs on this roster, in my opinion. And it's like clean. It's not like a little bit. I mean, he's, to me, clearly the best back on this team, talent-wise. Not close. Dexter Williams got some juice, but he's nowhere near Aaron. I mean, this guy plays passing downs. I mean, he does all kinds of things. Great after the catch, good hands, you know, smooth hips. If he doesn't get hurt, I just don't see the problem. And I don't see the West Coast being a problem for him. I mean, I think for the backs, the West Coast is fine. I'm more worried about Rodgers with this whole West Coast thing.
I'm just, and we can move on after this, but I'm just a huge fan of watching the consistency over time, particularly like year over year. And so when McCarthy goes out, we have LaFleur now. They draft the running back, and I don't really like Dexter Williams. I know a lot of people do. I'm not his biggest fan at all, but I just know that what's the thing that Sigmund Bloom talks about, the assumption of rational coaching, right?
Yeah.
So we just assume that Aaron Jones is going to be, as the most talented guy, he's going to be, you know, thrust into the bell cow role, and I don't know. I just don't want to take that risk in the third that for whatever reason he pisses LaFleur off or whatever else. I don't want it. I don't want any piece of it. So, anywho, Gabe, 103.
That last part, I guess I could sort of see. I mean, we don't know about LaFleur. That's that, you know. But there's half the offenses in the NFL are new this year. Like there's like 15 or 16 new play callers this year. There's a lot of them.
I like Aaron Jones. What running back is he off the board?
Doesn't tell me here.
I got him as my RB 13, 25 off the board overall.
He is
15.
16 or
Yeah.
15. Okay.
Yeah. Mid-teens.
I think
that
that's
that whole
safe
group is
pick
tight.
with the upside. I mean, I don't know. I don't hate it. But, you know, J. Mike, you can do whatever you want because.
And I will. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
I just want to know that this podcast is going to be over before the alcohol I'm currently drinking hits me.
Nope, you better go refill, bud.
I may have some problems then.
Gabe on the clock. Get him moving.
It hasn't been as embarrassing as I predicted in before we went live. So
I got to show this real quick. Everyone thinks that J Mike's just this big cuddly bear, and then he just comes out with some heat, and Brian's like nervous as fuck, and he can't even talk to him.
Aaron Jones.
It was so uncomfortable. I've never been in a more uncomfortable argument. It was awful. It was awful. Like, J Mike, I'm probably driving down there to Kentucky tomorrow to give you a big hug or something. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. Never again, bud.
And I know that's your man. That's why it really cut me to even say that. But I wanted to do like Ryan. I wanted to follow Ryan's lead and get up high on the board there and give something that was meaningful.
There you go.
Who's next?
I don't know.
Hey,
With Ryan, J Mike. So we're sort of like, it could be anybody now, right?
Yeah. Can someone give me their favorite player so I can attack that player?
I think Bosch loves John Ross, so you can.
We already beat that guy up.
You know I don't have favorites.
I'm sort of a Curtis Samuel guy. Be nice though.
If you did, it would be John Ross.
No, I would even throw $1 in an auction in him if it was like $1,000. If it was like $1,000 budget and a 35 man roster, I'd probably throw $1 at John Ross.
Well, you're not getting it. Oh, John Ross. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably get him.
that might go through, huh? maybe I overspent then. Maybe
he can have a Hey, John Ross, if he just get healthy and get his head on straight, but so far neither one of those things. Yeah, let's not.
Why would you do that, J
wide
Mike?
receiver that's starting right now?
Where'd J Mike go?
Other than Tyler Boyd?
He gone.
They have another
What
one?
was the name? They came out.
Josh Malone?
Yeah.
No.
Damian Willis.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, sure. Okay, so you want me to that kind of leads into players I won't be drafting.
Yeah.
Do it.
This should be good.
Bengals, Washington.
I thought you were just going to say Bengals. Oh, teams.
Bengals
You're knocking
player.
out whole teams?
I won't be drafting any Bengals. I won't be drafting any Washington Redskins. I won't be drafting any New York Jets. And for a very different reason, I actually also won't be drafting any Cleveland Browns. Maybe I'd take Chubb if I could get him, but I'm not paying up for all the other Browns. Chubb's the only one I'd pay up for. Other than that, all those teams. Not taking any of those players, baby.
No Lev Bell.
Probably not taking any Dolphins either.
Is this
Throw them on the list.
intellectual or personal?
I have zero interest. Lev Bell, I think, is too. I'm not investing in him at that price. He's probably the best one on the list. The Browns, I'm not. I mean, if I want OBJ, I'd rather have one of the wide receivers that are right around him in that area. I'd rather have Michael Thomas, so I'll take him. Baker, there's no way in the world I'm paying up for Baker.
Okay.
Mixon, I'd rather have Dalvin Cook in that little range right there. I think they're going pretty much back to back. So, and I mean, there's
sounds like a price thing for you.
There's no. Oh, everything's a price thing, but.
I know, I know that, but also these teams are considered
like bad,
not good. Yeah,
yeah.
But what you've mentioned so far is kind of a price thing, maybe built on top of the teams not being extra.
Well, yeah, I have low expectations for the offenses of all those teams, so why would I want to invest my money in them?
No love for Robbie Anderson, Bosch?
Slight love, not a lot.
All right, we got slight out of you. I'll take it.
I mean,
he was on my list of not draft at all.
Really?
I mean, the area that he's going, he's right by like Allen Robinson and stuff. Most of the time, I'll take Allen Robinson.
Yeah,
I'll take Robbie.
Sounds like an open bar bet.
Sure.
Hey, have a little fun.
Hey, just real quick, Bosch, I just want to get you to see this real quick. What was in the chat?
Yeah. The first player I wrote down, players you won't draft, because Jarvis is supposed to be my answer, right? Because that's been my answer for like 3 years. I will say, I actually pulled up on my phone when that question was asked. I have 7% exposure to Jarvis Landry on draft. So I have actually drafted Jarvis Landry. I think it's the first year I've gone above 0% exposure to him. Maybe I'm coming around. His price is actually probably the most palatable of any Cleveland Brown right now. Yeah, that's shocking, isn't it? Amazing what pricing can do for me. Even my Jarvis hate can be overcome if the price is right.
You're a mad scientist, man.
104. Who wants it? Maybe we'll just make this a one rounder. I like that grouping, Bosch. I like that.
Didn't I knock out like almost all the other players?
No Geis, no Le'Veon.
I can't pick any Jets or any Browns or any Bengals.
I took all them.
You just took like 70 guys off the board.
Okay.
Volume.
I'm going to go Le'Veon. I'm going on my own team. I'm with you on Le'Veon, man. I don't think I'd take him at ADP. He'd have to really fall for me.
RB6.
I like the player, but I don't trust him. I don't trust the Jets to give him the volume. I'm a little worried about the layoff, a little worried about soft tissue injuries. And I don't know enough about the Jet offense to just take Bell that high. I think he's really good. If the Jets did everything right, it could work out. But just think about what I just said. If the Jets do everything right, I mean,
and including Gase.
I know. I keep forgetting.
I don't even hate Gase. I don't even hate him. I'm just, he's a Jet coach. Come on.
But he doesn't help, right? But for what we know of him, he doesn't help. We know that his pace of play is slow, and that he screws around with backfields. Like, those are the two things that we know about him.
That's true. That's true. I sort of feel like maybe the Jet personnel is good enough, or maybe he'll pick the pace up. I don't think that's out of the question. I mean, I really don't. But I think to ignore it as a possible problem, I think would be a mistake as well.
It's also bad enough that he can't really mess around with the backfield because the other options are not quite as appealing as.
I mean, Jet's going to jet. I mean, that's just the way it is. This is what we do. We mess stuff up. The GM, this ain't his team, but he's the GM. I mean, it's only the Jets could be where they are right now. But the other side of the coin is that the talent, oddly enough, on offense is sort of good. There's a lot of skill talent. But I just don't see Bell getting enough volume. Does anybody really think Ty Montgomery's going to get big volume? I'm having a lot of trouble believing it.
No.
But
a lot of head shaking.
Yeah, that seems like just typical Jet stuff. They always talk down Bilal Powell, and then he ends up getting volume. So don't be surprised if Bilal Powell ends up getting some juice. But I just don't trust the Jets. I just don't trust them to take an RB in the first round for them. If Bell's there in like 20 overall, I'll take him. Other than that, nah.
And there's no way. I've seen people taking Bell. I mean, way higher than 20.
Oh yeah, 7.
Every time I see him go above Gurley, it just
like
bothers
5.
me.
I mean, with the Zeke and Gordon, I mean, he's probably going 5 or 6.
I've seen him over DJ a few times, and that one I really don't get. I don't get
Not
that
for
one
me.
at all. That one's crazy.
No. 105 and 106.
Not with Dowell Loggains calling the plays. No.
He's
sorry.
Still around. Good grief.
Game
or either one. 105 or 106.
Hard. I think I've got something.
Go for it.
All right. I was kind of looking through, and I mean, I don't know. I started looking at Edelman, and I was like, well, that doesn't really seem like a good pick, but it seems kind of boring too. So then I started looking right after Edelman, and then there's Cooks, and then just right after there's Woods, and then right after there's Kupp. And so I thought it'd be fun to kind of, I've probably taken Cooks in a draft, so I don't know if this is cheating, or have him on a dynasty team, but that doesn't count. Let's just say Rams wide receivers then.
Ooh. How dare you, sir?
Yeah. I've talked to, and Peter's been on here before, and we talked separately about the possibility of repeating what they did last year, of kind of on pace for, 3 top 24 guys. And that's where they're being taken, is just a bet that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I don't mind. That's the thing, though, is like you probably aren't going to take 2 of them. I really hope you're not taking 3 of them, or how you're going to take 3 of them. I don't know. But I suppose maybe you could take one and plant your flag on that. And if anyone, it would be Cooks for me. But it's just so bizarre to me to see them all as a group there. To kind of all have this expectation of them finishing, inside the top 20, all 3 wide receivers. There are only 17 other wide receivers that are allowed to finish top 20. It's just,
I mean,
The simple math.
I'm with you on the Rams receivers, just in that I feel like my ceiling's capped when I take them. I feel like they're floor picks in the 4th round. I'd rather target a guy who maybe could exceed it and climb up to 2nd round value. So, granted, in that area, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people tell me I'm crazy, but I've been grabbing Galladay a little bit in that area just because I feel like he has a chance to maybe become the number 1 on his team and score a lot of touchdowns, get a little bit more of a steady diet. Like the Rams feel like a safe play, but I'd like to get somebody who could play a round or 2 above where I'm taking them. And I feel like it's hard for the Rams guys to do that because there's 3.
Yeah.
Right.
The Rams receivers for me, I mean, honestly, the only one I like is whoever's the one that's getting picked 3rd. And if I like him at that spot, it's the only spot I'll take him, but I'm not going to take one of the first 2.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then the 3rd one is Cup, and you know he's coming off of an ACL, and we know how that goes. So it's like, I don't know. It seems tough for me to do any of them really.
Yeah, and Cup sort of has the favorable position. You know, he gets the most slot snaps. So
yeah,
right.
But then the injury sort of keeps me from leaning in on that.
In all instances, it's been either Cooks or Woods, and then the other one, and then Cup. Like all draft season long, that's been the order. Startups, redraft,
it makes sense.
All. So yeah. But I think to your point, Ryan, like I don't know that any of them are going in so much further back behind the other to give you really any kind of added boosting value from each other. So that's really interesting. I like that. Last but not least,
do you hate the Rams wide receivers?
Sorry.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I like all of them, and I will take one of them when I can, like when it fits. I did look up which ones I have most. I have Cooks, Woods, Cup in that order, but I mean I like them all about evenly. I don't really care which one I get. I like getting a piece of that offense. So to me, it doesn't matter, and I might be wrong, and I might get the one that has a safe floor without an upside, but if one of them goes down and then it's just 2 of them eating, that upside goes way up for those 2. So
it's true.
It is.
I'll take a shot on
that for sure.
Any one of them.
Bosch,
this year, I feel like it should be Cooks. You know, if Cup was not coming off an ACL, I might take Cup first.
Yeah, I mean, I like them all, so I don't have a preference really.
Yeah, that's fair.
Last but not least, 106 spot, the final pick in the draft. And then we'll get ready to pack it in. Brian Hart, the one player that you will not draft, period.
Yeah, so I'm going to literally answer the question. I'm not getting cute. I'm not looking at ADPs. I'm not looking at anything. I'm not drafting Josh Gordon. No, never again. I don't care where. I don't care when. Never again. If fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 7 effing times. Never again. I'm not drafting Josh Gordon, period.
I totally just drafted Josh Gordon.
I'll take Josh Gordon.
I mean, like I just did it.
I'm not
It was
doing
late,
it again.
though.
I just can't. I just can't do it. I mean, look, I am rooting for the guy. I hope that he gets his life turned around and in the right direction and all of that beyond football. From a football standpoint, I don't trust him worth a lick. I mean, when's the last time? 2013? I mean, I was a young man then. I am no longer a young man. So I'm just not. Well, everything in life is relative, but
it is.
But no, I'm not drafting Josh Gordon. I'd rather throw a dart at, I don't even know who.
His ADP skyrocketed. You could still get him for like a day. You could get him, but then people realized and started like searching on their own or something, or he was just finally up there where they could scroll down to it. It was really nice for a day.
I'm in a really sharky super flex draft that I was talking about before with some like major sharks. And in this draft, he went, and this is super flex, he went 506. That's pretty early. That's the earliest I've seen him go.
You want to talk about a guy?
don't
You want to
take him
talk
there.
about a guy with upside? Wow, does he have it in spades?
That's what I was.
That's what people love. People love it.
But does he? I mean, we're talking about a guy
I'm not
that
taking him in the fifth.
hey, I'm just saying when we're talking about upside, like what is the upside? 700 yards receiving?
no,
I mean, the upside really
It's more
is a
than that.
lot. But
Is
we
it?
have
we
I
don't
really
know, and
it is.
I think it's the fact that we don't know what the upside is that makes
think
it
I know what
seem
it
like
is.
it's just
I think it's
Just
crazy. I think it's crazy upside. Like
yeah.
wide receiver 7, 6, something like that. That's the upside. But the odds on him hitting it probably aren't that great. And could he be like completely out of the picture tomorrow? Yeah. So like you have to just totally accept the risks if you're going to do it.
He
no
can't
doubt.
do it again, right? Like there's no way. At
Can't
this
do
point,
what?
Can't
Can't use again?
can't fail a drug test again, right?
Oh yeah, he can.
No, come on. He can't
Yeah,
do it
he
again.
can.
No, I
He
know.
can.
That's what I mean. Like seriously, at this point, you got to know how to not fail a drug test.
Well, listen.
Oh,
Reeves made a good point when I was talking to him this morning, and he said, and I totally agree with this, and I made it on my pod a couple times. It's that the irony of this whole thing is that the thing that gets him to use is football.
yeah.
Like when things get going really well and everything's coming and the reporters are at his locker and everybody's singing his praises, that's when he's like at the biggest risk. So that's the thing that I think we need to remember is that if things start going really well, that's when the rug's going to get yanked. So no doubt we're working without a net with Josh Gordon, no doubt. But at some point in the draft, if I've got a chance to get wide receiver 1 upside,
Yep.
and it's not available anywhere else on the board, there are scenarios where I'm going to do it. I got him for $6 in an auction over the weekend. I felt okay about that.
When you're looking
I
at him,
needed upside at the position and I got it. If it doesn't work out, the other $6 players that were available, it's not like they were going to change my life. So I was willing to take the risk. But yeah, I mean, do I feel good? Like, hey, I got Gordon as my wide receiver 1? No, I'm working without a net.
Well, and if you do have the gusto to take a shot at him, I think the immediate response to that is sell immediately.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Before he does this again, because right now there are people out there who have that mindset of, hey, draft picks are lottery tickets, right? I'll give you a 2020 third or maybe higher, maybe a 2020 second.
You're talking dynasty. I'm actually talking redraft.
Yeah, I think we're having two different
your point's
discussions
really,
here.
really good. I love it. I mean, the league I took him in, there's 4 Patriot fans in that league. And you're right. If he comes out and drops touchdowns week 1 and 2, yeah, I might just move him to some Patriot fan who's salivating and wants to get in on it. Absolutely. That's a really good call.
Dynasty, I want nothing to do with him. Like, I have zero interest there. So, yeah, I totally agree with you there, Brian.
I agree. That's a really good point, John, because
Yeah.
in Dynasty, even if things go well, the Patriot paradigm is sort of slowly – right. It's not like Brady's going to be around in 2 years.
Redraft, if I burn a pick, I just pretend he got hurt and I don't care. I'll pick up a
Right.
waiver wire wide receiver to fill in. But
Right. And the fact that he may play week 1, I think really helps because, like Brent said, we can get a little something. If he gets out well, we have options. You can flip him.
the trade addict said take him and trade him.
Take him and trade him, baby.
On brand.
Brand.
But the thing of Gordon for me is that I keep hearing people say, he's got a wide receiver 2 ceiling. And I'm like, well, he did last year. I mean, look, his floor is like
better than that. Yeah.
But his ceiling is more than wide receiver 2. I mean, let's be honest.
Do you think so serious question, and I'm not just trying to defend my not taking him here, but do you really think he has wide receiver 1 upside when Julian Edelman's in that offense? Yeah,
I do. But upside.
Okay.
Upside. So we're talking, upside of the range of outcomes. Yeah, I do. I mean, this is the best talent they've had at X since they had Moss. I mean, and Moss was a little, hey, the year before they got Moss, nobody thought anybody could get Moss's head straight. So, look, I hate to say this. I'm a Jet fan. I don't root for the damn Patriots. But listen, they do stuff better than a lot of the other teams. They've had this guy in their system. So I'm just trying to keep an open mind because I'm with you. I think he's really risky. Addiction is a risky thing. But do we want an addict with the Patriots, or do we want him with the Browns before they became a little bit better? I just think his whole situation is a little bit better now. Now, a smart person would point out that there are now legal weed dispensaries in Massachusetts. So there is that factor. But I feel like the support system he's got right now is probably better. So we should at least be open-minded to maybe he could do it.
So Brian, your point was kind of interesting because he does seem to be like the second fiddle right now to Edelman. Edelman would be the primary number one. Like that's the expected number one. But if you look around the league at any of the wide receiver twos on teams that we like to pick, where we like that wide receiver two, is there any other team where you think that wide receiver two could easily surpass the wide receiver one?
LA Rams.
Because we don't know who's the one, two, and
wide
three.
receiver two. Yeah.
Hey, you asked the question. I answered it.
No, but okay, fine. I'll give you that one. But
Cincinnati.
You think somebody's passing Tyler Boyd? Or are you considering AJ Green the number one?
Yeah, he was doing a layup there.
AJ Green's not
he's
playing
taking all the caveats. He's taking all the caveats.
Anybody to keep considering AJ Green the wide receiver one down there?
Well, when Gronk was there, was Edelman the top option in the passing game?
Good point.
No, but we're talking. Rob Gronkowski's the greatest tight end to ever play the game from a receiving perspective. So that's where I guess maybe I differ from the crowd is look, Josh Gordon as a 22 and 23-year-old player in this league in Cleveland was an elite talent.
Yeah.
That was 6 years ago. He in between that, he's missed 2 full seasons and parts of every season since. I don't believe that a 29-year-old Josh Gordon in any situation is the same elite talent that we saw in Cleveland in 2012 and 2013. That's just my opinion on it. Look, I could be totally wrong here. He could have a Randy Moss type season, and good for him. Again, I hope he does because
you hope he lights up the league, huh?
Not as I don't like the Patriots, but yeah, look, I like life stories. I'm a counselor by trade, right? I'm a mental health counselor. I hope like hell Josh Gordon gets his life straightened out and his career back on track because he is fun as hell to watch play football when he's at his best. There's no doubt about it. I just am not sure he can do that, number one. And number two, even if he can, I don't personally excuse me, I can't talk. I don't personally believe that he's that elite talent that we are thinking that he might still be. That's just my personal opinion.
No, I think that's totally reasonable. I'm talking about range outcomes. So, and I think, is he 29? I thought he was 28. I could be wrong.
He may be. He is 28. You're
okay,
right. He's 28.
Right. So, he's in general terms, he's 1 year outside of his physical prime. Layoff definitely is a factor. But, we did see him playing, people have pointed out, when he was sort of locked in last year, he was sort of a wide receiver too. Now he's got training camp with this team. He's actually been in the scheme a little bit. They know him a little bit. He's worked with Brady a little bit. I feel like there's a little bit more ceiling there. I'm throwing out wide receiver 6. Yeah, that could be a pipe dream. But I do think we could see a little bit more of the old Josh Gordon this year than we saw last year. I think that a lot has to go right. I'm not saying it doesn't, but again, you do get to a point in a draft. Like I was in an auction and I'm sitting there, and not that anybody cares about my team, but I had Zeke, I had both of the Frisco backs, I had Lindsey, I had Kerryon and CJ Anderson, and I had Pollard too. So my running game was really locked up tight, and I needed upside at the wide receiver position. $6, Josh Gordon, what the hell?
That's the right move. But that's redraft. I think, Brian, what do you think for Dynasty? Like, what is his value even right now?
Well, apparently I don't know.
Dynasty's totally different. I'm with you guys on Dynasty.
Again, I'm not touching him anywhere personally. I think a lot of people have the idea that he's worth, as much as a 2020 second in a loaded class. I would break my fingers smashing the accept button for a 2020 second. I would sell for a 2020 third easily in this upcoming class. I just think it's that deep and that talented, and I would rather take a lottery ticket there than a lottery ticket on a 28-year-old wide receiver who hasn't played a full 16 game slate since 2013. That's just just my opinion on it. But that's where I stand.
Oof. I might give the third because I think it's the fastest way to turn a third to a first. But I definitely want to give a second. So I think you're right that's it. That's his value somewhere right in that range. I haven't seen him move anywhere. Like I haven't seen a trade involving him yet. So
right. I mean, say the whole season plays out and it's like trading deadline and he's kicking ass and I'm in a position to win. Maybe then I'd throw.
Yeah, I'll give that second. I'll give that second.
No. But that's the thing. But
then he's costing a first. Then
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's why you give a third now, and then you hope that, and then you sell him for that first.
That's it, Bosch. That's it. If you wait and he blows the roof off, you're no longer getting him for the second.
You're right.
That's a wrap.
Even though he should never reach that price again. The risk alone, he should never reach that price.
Back to Brian's point, though, don't wait. Like if he starts kicking ass, just move him.
Yeah, right away.
I'm going to wait a month to move Josh Gordon because he's hot. No, that's not the play.
and Bosch, that's and Bosch, this is something that I've learned from you in leagues is that if you have a team that's in position to be one of those final 3-4 teams, pay what you need to pay to get to where you need to get the guy who's going to help you get over the ceiling or blow the roof off of what your team's expectations or ceiling be. If you pay the second now, yes, it could blow up in your face because you can't necessarily pay it later. But then my question becomes, there's not really anything else in season that I think that I can buy or try to get for the second that's going to push me like that in season, because I feel like if anybody's balling in season, typically people want first for them.
Yeah.
Right. Unless they're like way over the hill guys like your Larry Fitzgeralds, if he's balling, your Adrian Peterson last season, people aren't necessarily going to ask for first for those guys. But for somebody like Josh Gordon, if you pay the second now, obviously the risk reward is huge. But I find that super interesting. That's super interesting. Anywho, Gabe, we're at the 2-hour mark. You got your wish.
I thought we could just. Bosh, you got another question?
No.
Listen. I want it to be known, and I'm not joking here. I mean, I appreciate being allowed on the show this evening, but we are breaking this record. So just mentally, I mean, look, we don't have to break it tonight, but I'm breaking the damn record.
Is Russ calling in from Mexico? Because that's a good 2 hours added on there if he calls in.
Listen, I think we might actually come on the same time so that there's no like infighting.
That's true.
You know, I mean, we got to keep things kosher in the Trade Addicts
podcast might actually end if you were to overcome the Russ record.
Y'all hold hands as you cross the finish line. That'll be a Kodak moment. I like that. Let's go ahead and start packing it in. As sad as this is, such a good evening. Golly, such good discussion. This has been fun, Gabe. Who do you want to start with to give our outros?
Let's go in order of which they arrived. Sound good?
Okay. First and foremost.
All right.
Brian.
There he is.
Enjoyed it, fellas. I will see y'all real soon on this Nick Chubb take. I know you guys are not going to forget this anytime soon. So, yeah, looking forward to that discussion.
Mike, did we write down any bets? Because I said it several times, and I wanted to bet people, and then we never made bets.
Well, I've got the other ones tweeted from this year. The question becomes, what at this point, because he's saying right where Chubb is right now in terms of ADP is kind of where he sees him going, which I don't have much of a beef with that. I guess what
is where he finishes the 2019 season.
Yeah, because he's got him right there in the 7 and 9 range.
That's where I had him through the first 10 weeks in that discussion,
right.
Which I think
first
is
10 weeks
upside. Yeah.
But what about for the season?
Please don't get real disrespectful here, Ryan.
I won't.
No, get disrespectful because this is the bet.
14 is my lucky number. If I'm going to take a bold take, I'm going to use my lucky number. I'll say 14.
Okay. Can I take the, however you'd say it, under?
Under on 14?
Yeah, that he ends up
Do RB1. Meet in the middle.
Yeah.
All
PPR.
right. So
Yes.
if in PPR, if he's top 12, it's to Gabe. Anywhere outside of the top 12 goes to Ryan.
Yes.
There it is. And I will get that tweet up
That's
shortly.
through 16 weeks or 10 weeks?
16.
I think it's through the 16. All right.
Season.
Good.
Ryan, where can they find your work, what you do, all those good things?
Yep. So you can find me on Twitter at Ryan Miller NFL, and then posting articles on dynastyleaguefootball.com. Got my top 200 dynasty ranks up there and my IDP ranks as well.
Nice.
And I will shout you out in terms of what you put out earlier in the spring. Your rookie running back rank metrics work. A lot of that was so fascinating to read, how you tier them, how you score them. That was something that I thoroughly enjoyed being able to check out this year. I feel like I learned a ton from you, and that just generated so much good discussion. So thank you for that. That was
Awesome.
That was fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah. Can't wait to revisit the running back and the wide receiver models about halfway through the year and at the end. So yeah, I'm hoping it's something good we can do year after year and hit some dynasty values kind of early. So
Very good.
for sure.
Second to tonight's stream, the talented, the wonderful Mr. The trending, the worldwide trending Pete Davidson.
That boy's had a lot of McAllen, J. Mike.
Yeah. I'm just happy I made it through the pod without like embarrassing myself. And thanks for having me back, guys. I hope I make it back a third time. And I think week 12, like a revisiting of this whole fade thing would be fun.
Yes.
That's all I
Anything
got.
you want to plug, Pete? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at Rotobahn, ROTOBAHN. I got a site, rotobahn.com. We do rankings pretty much 12 months out of the year, and we'll do dynasty stuff in the off season. So yeah, please check it out. We want to have you.
You're rocking the pod lately too, aren't you? Pete?
We're doing a lot of podcasts lately. I've worn out my vocal cords, but you know what? It costs a lot of money to have a podcast, so you better podcast a lot, right?
Yeah, J. Mike.
Here.
I'm getting my money's worth.
I don't know. What that means.
Next up,
Podbean cost me like $20 a month.
Right. Welcome to Anchor.
I don't know what like this whole new setup for you guys. How hard was that? Because you guys had to like switch from the whole Google thing, right?
Yeah, that was free. So is this.
Is it? I mean, this is nice. This is nice.
We are rather pleased with the transition for sure.
We're gonna get invested into StreamYard though. We're gonna become partners with their business, and so. But
this is a nice setup. This was fun.
Yeah. Thanks.
There you go.
J. Mike produced it entirely. So.
No, I did not. I'm struck. The commish of all commissions. My first dynasty commish.
False.
My last dynasty.
I knew he'd say that.
You are my first dynasty commish, and I will.
Well, that part can be true.
John Bosch, talk to us.
You can find me dropping my jaw, finding out that J. Mike spent $47 on Chad Kelly.
Oh,
wowza, J. Mike.
I wanted to bring that up. Yes,
Wow.
Bosch. I wanted to bring. That was my last thing I was going to bring up too.
That's
saving the
buddy.
shiv for the close. Damn.
Oh my!
I was so mad.
God. I'm trying to think. Does this website? Some of them allow you to show like some of the leagues you can find. I think I have all mine turned off, but on some you can find like the report of what people bid and missed. Yeah. This one could really.
I took Amir Abdullah in the third round of the startup. So
can you see it? Can you see it, Bosch?
I'm trying to find it.
Okay.
I don't think I have it turned on in my leagues. I think I turned it off because obviously it's knowledge that can be helpful in trading aspects. So I think I have it
20 something. I think I put in for like 20 something.
Well, that's 20 more than I put in for because I forgot about waivers again. Shocking.
Like the only time I ever thought about waivers was when Luck retired. I'd be like, make sure.
That was one of the topics to bring up too tonight. Crap. Anywho.
I mean, we can do it, J. Mike. What do you mean? But
it's still live, J. Mike.
You guys legitimately did not talk about Andrew Luck? I really thought I just missed that conversation.
Did we?
I don't know. Not so much luck.
We missed it.
Stay away
Well,
from
we sort of hit it. We hit it on
We
a
usually
tangent.
don't talk about things that happen.
Oh my gosh! All right, let me give you a quick little story on how that news was broken to me. So, a couple months ago, my 12-year-old daughter asked me, "Hey, can we start a father-daughter fantasy league?" Of course, I'm like, "Oh my God, you're my favorite." So yeah, I have 3 kids, but she immediately was my favorite, and that got announced pretty loudly when she asked me that. So we decided to do a father-daughter league. We had the draft on Saturday night or Friday night, I don't know, whatever night it was at Luck. Yeah, it was Saturday night, right? We are literally in the 7th round of this draft, and one of her friends goes, "Andrew Luck just retired." And I'm like, "Oh my God, like that's so funny. Your sense of humor is awesome." Because, somebody had picked Luck recently, and I thought she was just messing with them. And then everybody's like looking at their phones, and we're all just like, "Oh my God, no." Like, he actually did just retire. Like, that was crazy, right?
I'm sure y'all backed the draft up for that poor Luck.
Oh, no,
right?
no, not even a little bit.
No.
It is a super flex league because I'm obviously raising these kids right. So
whoever took Luck, that was a super freak league.
The Luck owner happened to be on the clock, and I just looked at him and I said, "Take Jacoby Brissett, and we're just moving on." Sure enough, they did. They took Brissett and we moved on. They basically had to burn a pick, but
I'm sure that was fun.
Yeah, they were. It's a competitive bunch, even though it is just a parent child. They were not happy, but what can you do? Lamar Miller got drafted too that night. Oh well.
Jeez.
I think it's a great. I mean, aside from the serious part of Luck retiring and whatnot, but the tweet of whoever said, like, "Where were you? Like, what happened when Andrew Luck retired?" is so interesting because there are so many good stories like that. Yeah, you'll remember. I was in a draft when it happened. I
said you will never forget your first fantasy football draft now. Like, that is a memory. That Luck retiring right there. I mean, that's unreal. You can't match that.
Yeah, same here. I was in an auction, and literally like 20 minutes after the auction, we found out all that stuff. And it was like, oh, wow.
Somebody spent. What wasn't you? Was it Pete?
No, I got lucky.
Good.
I danced between the raindrops. It wasn't skill, man. Pure luck.
That's what's up.
So for those tuning in and staying in late, Andrew Luck retired. You heard it here first.
The open bar comes with the news 2 hours in.
You stayed till after the goodbyes started. Good job. You didn't just hit stop when the people started giving out their info. Good job. Now we broke the news.
You all are welcome, all of you. Last but not least, the one that came in at the end for our draft and to get, I guess, insulted with my Aaron Jones take, the Hardy Har, a Harbin the Martian, Brian Har.
Yeah, guys, thank you for having me in here. J Mike, if you want, I mean, I have Andrew Luck in TA6. If you want him, you can come get him. I mean, I'm sure we can work a deal. I am one of the trade addicts, so I mean,
is there let's make it happen. 7th round picks in that league or what?
I think 5, yeah, 5th round. So
5th season.
Anyways, yeah, holler at me after the show. No, I am Brian Har at Brian Har FF. I'm a contributor over at DynastyLeagueFootball.com. I'm also a co-host at the Trade Addicts podcast, and just announced today I'm also a new co-host with the Superflex Super Show. Very excited about that opportunity. So, but no, thanks guys for having me on here, and it's been fun chatting as always.
Very good. Always a pleasure to have you guys. Ryan, thanks for putting up with our nonsense and coming in for the first time. To our returners, we appreciate you guys. Gabe, do you want to flip this on its head and you go ahead and say your piece?
I'm gonna do my best, man. I'm really gonna try to let you produce, be the leader here, lead us into this week and weeks beyond. Oh, really? You know what you just did?
I don't know.
Go ahead and do that. No, do that big one again. Do that big one again. Look where my face is. I'm getting StreamYarded right now.
If you get the paid version, you can remove that. I did read that.
Yeah. There's a story about that. All right. So what do you usually say, J Mike?
Bro, this is yours. This is your
God,
moment.
I thought I could bait you. Thought I could bait and switch real quick and close the show. Okay. Hey, you know what? Gosh darn it. Does this mean I have to acknowledge the chat? All right. Thank you. Thanks for joining us, chat. No, but for real in the chat. It is right here in the StreamYard. I can see everything. I've been showing messages all night. That's honestly what I love most about going live anymore, is being able to just have that next door to me and be able to throw that up on the screen, have a topic or just something that is just hilarious because people are hilarious, things like that. Exactly. And in case you're listening in podcast form, on the screen, it is showing a comment from the chat from John Hogue, the homie. Luck retired. Good thing I hung out at the bar. So, for one, you would miss that news if you weren't here live.
Like a sarcastic remark.
No, I doubt it.
The only thing it's missing is one of Brian Haar's one of his voiceovers, like he does on the Trade Addicts pod, the breaking news or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Breaking news: Andrew Luck retired 3 days ago.
3 days ago. So major thanks to the chat. Major thanks to y'all if you're listening on the next day or even through the week. Apologies if you can't find us in iTunes. We've heard several people reach out to us and say, my stream has not updated, Open Bar. We know we are working to get that fixed in the near future. In the meantime, we are on other platforms. Anchor is kind of our main source that goes out to Stitcher, Podbean.
Good on Stitcher, boys.
Yep, Spotify, and a couple other unique ones that I'm not even going to name. I'd imagine that you're between those three at least, if not iTunes. So thank you for listening to us, and thank you to our guests. We wouldn't be a open bar without you. Can I say that, or is that a grab bag line, J Mike? Am I allowed to say that?
Bro, as the dean of grab bag, that's totally run that. That's you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And you can find us at the Open Bar Pod on Twitter. You can find my absolute favorite person of these six and of anyone in the chat and of anyone on Twitter. Sorry, losers. J Mike's my favorite. At J Mike
Clint.
Check. Oh shit.
Hey.
Clint just got destroyed.
Well, there's favorites, and then there's bays, and there's Harv and Martians, and then there's your favorite commish, et cetera, et cetera. You get it, Bosh. Come on, you've been playing favorites. Anyways, at J Mike Check, he probably won't mention it when he closes out the show, so I'm going to say it, that he does a podcast, the Dummy Blitz Pod, and he's been releasing new episodes, and I believe he released one just today. Go and listen to it. He talks about things that actually happened as opposed to the open bar where we don't. So go and check that out. I'm at FF Man Bun. Shoot, J Mike, I think at this point I say take us home.
Man, you make it sound so much cooler. I appreciate that. To everyone, golly, such a fun night. To our guests, thank you guys for rocking with us for so long. To everybody in the chat, thank you guys for rocking with us as well. Sticking with us much longer than our typical go around here. But we pushed for the record. Looks like we might fall a little bit short. Sorry, Brian. Inadvertently pushed for the record. So one last thing I do want to make sure that we plug is our store, theopenbar.storenvy.com. We've got t-shirts. Gabe's got, I don't know if you used to have the poster up there, Gabe. The poster that you had created.
No, I took it down. That was a good poster though.
Yes, the open bar t-shirt. I'll get for those checking this out via podcast form, or excuse me, via YouTube. the classic open bar tea. Never late.
Nice.
Never late. Always on time.
We're
just to do it. I've got you, Pete. I've got you. All I need is the dressing size, and we'll work it out afterwards.
Giddy up.
But what we are so appreciative.
my way.
With all that said, let's kick rocks, gentlemen. As is customary, please go ahead and hit us with whatever you're drinking, empty cups, whatever it may be. Ryan living his best life.
You gotta go study after this. I wish. It's rough.
I made a dent, man.
Rocking with us. And as my main man Gabe always says, deuces.